All right, we are live. Welcome to Frank's Cantina. Since all you humans cannot go to the bar, you can come hang here at our cantina and drink your booze and hang out with us. With me, as always, is my great friend and cobber, Mr. Peabody from Australia, and Brian the Observer. How's everybody doing?
Hey,
Doing
Brian.
all right. What's up, Mr. Peabody?
How you going?
This actually worked out pretty well because while waiting for your stream to start, I was on a watch party with over on Jesse's channel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Meet the Feebles, which is a
Yep.
really R-rated Muppet show from the
It's
late
my fault.
80s.
My fault. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Mr.
I'll
Peabody
tell
brought it
you,
up yesterday.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't been sued by everybody because they took scenes from so many different movies. I'm surprised that, first of all, Jim Henson didn't sue him. First of all, next of all, I'm surprised Rambo didn't, or Carrie, or whoever. And I'd like to know, was this ever released in theaters?
I couldn't tell you that. I don't know. The fact is, I'm the one that told them, is like, check this movie out.
Mm-hmm.
And
because we were supposed to do it this afternoon. That was the whole game plan originally. Which, and with Jesse, I get it because it's always when he gets up, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So when he was on Anger House earlier, which I was in the chat from before Mike even started it, so I'm like, all right, I'm here. I shared it, and then everybody was talking, and then he said, oh, like in an hour. So I'm like, well, that'll line up perfectly for mine. Then I forgot that Odin goes on at 7 now instead of 8. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just postpone mine because, whatever. And then Jesse was doing his too. So I'm like, all right, that's cool.
I mean, the movie just ended.
Yeah, I figured when I saw you had jumped in earlier, and then I'm like, well, I bet you it's going to be ending pretty soon. So this will work out pretty well, depending on how long Jesse goes on his and if he wants to come hang out. And if not, it's all good,
Yeah, well, you got to remember the bit. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom.
Hey, having you guys yesterday with the dueling banjos and, Jesse playing the Empire theme was great, even to the point we got our copyright strike for you playing and singing Major Tom for like 15 seconds.
Yes, like, what the fuck?
I can see why you can get copyright struck for singing Ground Control to Major Tom, especially, I wasn't on the stream, but I could assume that you could actually nail the vocals just right, especially with your accent.
Well, no, I fucked it up.
Yeah, and I was singing with him, but I mean, it was off a karaoke track. So how can you do a
no? It wasn't. I was playing guitar and singing. There was no karaoke track.
So I was playing the karaoke track while you were singing.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't see it, but that's what I was playing because I was like, all right, we shouldn't have any issues because there's a karaoke track for it.
Yeah.
So it should be fine. That's how Mary does her karaoke. And, if it's on a karaoke, you can fuck right the fuck off, fuckers. So that's how I feel about that. And then they did the copyright strike, and it was only for the minute. It was like a minute, literally. The copyright strike is for just that minute. And they're like, well, you cannot get paid for this minute. I'm not even monetized. I've got 71 subs. So, okay, YouTube, bite me. Eventually, I'll figure out how to. I've got the videos and stuff downloaded, and I can upload them. I just haven't figured out how to put stuff on DLive and Twitch yet, and BitChute. I haven't messed with it, but I have all 3 accounts.
You want me to send this link in the group?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's like every I've received copyright copyright flag, and they say, "Oh, we're going to claim this. We're going to claim this." And I keep on saying, it's like, well, this is me doing my shit, And yes, a couple of times I used a karaoke track, and I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, that's free domain.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as it turns into a karaoke track, that's free domain. But for me to be playing guitar and singing, and they still flag it, that annoys the shit out of me.
I would wonder what would happen if you did it in a different key.
Well, he wasn't playing it dead on. I mean, he just had the guitar, so I mean, it technically was. And then he and I were both singing, so and I was just coming in real low, like, but it's just like, all right. and Heather Bell was loving it. We were all laughing and having a good time because everybody was having a good time. And that's
I used to stream with a guy that right before he got into the nitty gritty, he would play he would rickroll people, never gonna give you up, but he would butcher the vocal, like go low then high, and like it's like, oh, that's just weird.
Mhm.
And
I
like
think they're
put
mad that we were all just having fun because the
different sound
style.
effects in it, but it just I mean, I don't think he ever got a copyright strike. But
Well,
I think it's just that I don't know, YouTube can't hear.
well, I got majorly rickrolled because in February I went and saw Aha. It was a Day on the Green concert. There was one band that came out, then Rick Astley came out, and then Aha came out.
Mm.
So I got majorly rickrolled. But Rick Astley is actually a really good entertainer.
Oh, he is. He really is.
I don't like all his music or anything like that, but as an entertainer, he's fantastic.
Hello, Heather Bell.
Hey, Heather Bell.
No, you haven't showed up on stream with us in a long time. Come on.
There's Jesse in the crow's nest.
What's up, Jesse? But you know what? This whole thing going on right now in the world, it got me thinking. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Well, I think YouTube was just mad because we were all having fun. Brian's getting a phone call.
Whoa! What's that?
New world order.
Exactly.
Just give me a second so I can kill the sound on this.
That was great. I like that.
Like that, right? I was gonna do that the other night, but oh no, we had something that we were doing.
You scared the Aussie because I thought, oh, it's broken.
Nope. No, you were good. That was just the NWO, Hulk Hogan, Nash, Hall, good old wrestling stuff. But when he did, I knew what it was. This was like New World Order, new World Order. Do some Max Headroom stuff, shit going on right here now. So yeah, but
I think my favorite part from that whole saga was Piper exposing Bischoff as NWO.
yeah,
I mean, the feud Hogan had with Piper, and that during that time frame was just gold, because the shoe was on the other foot. Because if you remember back in the old WWF, it was Piper that was the bad guy, and so it just it was interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and there were so many good things that happened before it went to shit. When at first that you just thought it was 2, then you found out it was 3, and Hogan was the 3rd. You didn't see that coming.
You didn't see that coming.
And for me, that era was the best time to be a wrestling fan because
because there was that time. I mean, most everybody still thought wrestling was real, almost.
I mean, I was older, so I knew it wasn't real. But as a wrestling fan, you knew you had, some of the best stuff coming out of WWF at the time. You had even better stuff coming out of WCW at the time. Then you end up with the Monday Night Wars. So you got, God, what was it? 5 hours of wrestling. So WCW would play, WWF would play. As soon as WWF was over, whatever you missed for WCW, you could turn around and watch because they were replaying it.
Right.
So, literally.
And then also they decided, okay, well, we're gonna start 9 to 11 for Raw. And then like you listen to some of the podcasts that Bischoff does with, I forget what's his name, but he also does podcasts with JR and a few other people, where Bischoff swears up and down that no matter what he did to save the company, that the acquisition from AOL, they really hated wrestling.
Yeah.
So they tanked it and went from a 3-hour show to a 2-hour show, from 8 to 10 instead of 8 to 11.
Yep. Once they lost Turner.
And so at 10 o'clock, when Nitro went off the air, you go right to Raw, and they amped up their game.
Yep.
That's when they had their best stuff, and that's how they won the Monday Night War.
Money. Well, just think if they would not have tanked it, that feud. It's hard telling what could have happened. And you heard the stories where you're going to have this faction at NWO, that faction, and you had the
Well, that was actually decent. The Wolf Pack versus the Hollywood. That was good. But when they brought them together, it just I don't know, just the luster was gone. I thought that they wasted an opportunity with Bret Hart. They used him a little. They used him as a heel a little bit later, but they used him a little bit. They were let's say $1 short and a day later, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
They could have done so many other stuff. I think that there's a different. Whether they could have saved the show or whatever, they did have something going with a New Blood thing and whatever, but it just at that point it was AOL wanting to tank it and get rid of wrestling, period. But hey, look, now they got wrestling again with AEW.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just funny because Bret left WWF, even told people he was going to WCW, and he went months. I want to say damn near at least a year or so before he even ended up on WCW. It seemed like it was forever.
Like without even being in the ring, but he still got a salary. So think about like getting all your off time up front.
Yeah. So
still getting paid.
But he could have even done, if they weren't going to make him a villain or in the NWO, to me, they could have done the same thing they did with Hall and Nash, where he just kind of starts appeering. You start seeing him here and there, even though he's not wrestling and he's still getting paid anyway.
I thought it would be funny to have him have a feud with.
Hey, yo.
Yep.
Hey, yo.
Shut the fuck up about wrestling.
Wasn't he Irish?
Ooh, Hall?
Yeah.
No, Hall was Cuban, Miami.
Is he actually Cuban?
Yeah, well, he's from Miami.
From Miami.
Actually, yeah. So he just over-exaggerated the Cuban accent for Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
He is one giant Cuban.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at his earlier wrestling, like you wouldn't even see the character that came from Vince McMahon. He was just a wrestler, Scott Hall, and he wrestled.
There was that character he had in WCW before he went to WWF, which was the Diamond Stud.
The Diamond Stud.
And he had the same moveset, same everything, and he acted kind of the same with DDP as the manager.
Yep.
A lot of things Vince McMahon used to do when he came up with the characters, that's what made it good, because that's what he's good at. Like these days, it just seems like a bunch of guys who wrestle, because it's supposed to be, everything now has to be realistic. Nah, man, give the guy a character. Have fun with it.
Yeah, that's the fun
part. I'd rather see the big boss man fighting the $1 Million Man.
Even the territory days had decent characters.
Hey man, give me Point the Clown.
Let's look at the Big Boss Man. In WCW, he was called Big Bubba, which was still a character.
How did he learn how to do that nightstick so damn good?
My name's Wade Trailer, and I live at when he come out with his real name and everything. It's like, man,
that's killed it. But then after a while, he went back to the WWF as Big Boss Man, but as like a SWAT guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm assuming just practice.
You know what? He could give his address, because who's stupid enough to go to the Big Boss Man's house looking for trouble?
Right.
I thought the feud he had with the Big Show was pretty decent.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, he had. Even going back into the '80s with Hogan, or the '90s with Hogan, the feuds he had with Hogan were epic.
Yep. He was mean with that stick too. He's just like.
The missed opportunities that WCW had was Bret Hart was the biggest wasted opportunity. The next one had to have been, oh shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Had to have been Jake the Snake Roberts, because he had this feud going with Sting, but they ended it on a sour note. But I heard there was like a feud going on between him and management, because management just changed, and this was the guy before Bischoff was in charge.
Right,
that he had a problem with. But I heard the build up was great, but the actual match between Sting and Jake the Snake Roberts sucked. Coal Miner's glove match. And another wasted opportunity was that Bischoff got rid of Jesse Ventura when he took control.
Oh,
All
I
because
would have loved to see Jesse get back in the ring. You know,
I mean, it's not just that he was on
How old was he at that point?
collar commentary. He went
Mhm.
right from WWF to WCW.
Oh, and I didn't mean go in the ring as a full-time wrestler, but you would still get him in the ring and he'd be, doing the venture, Jesse the
Mhm.
Body, he
Mhm.
wouldn't wrestle, but he would still do interviews and you'd see him, when you heard the
Still,
same with
yeah.
Macho Man. When you'd hear Macho Man, oh yeah, and he's, got him in that hold and he's, and he's trying to do commentary and he wasn't really the greatest, but you get to
Oh.
see him interview somebody or, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's on WCW wrestling again, and that's what we wanted.
Well, yeah, because he wanted to wrestle. He thought that he wasn't done yet, and Vince McMahon was like, "Yeah, you're done."
The poor Aussie has no reference in wrestling.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay. You can just sit there and be purdy.
I wish I had hair like yours. Let's put it that way.
But I think the other thing too was when you watch a lot of the documentaries they've done, it was just guys getting paid money and the shows went to shit and nothing was really happening. You didn't have the good rivalries. WWF was the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
They got characters from WCW, Stunning Steve Austin will from WCW becomes Stone Cold Steve Austin, makes a lot of money. At first, that's not what he was. He was a ringmaster, and he hated it.
But they let him do what he wanted.
Yeah,
because at that point they were just throwing things at the wall, seeing what stuck because they were losing talent left and right to WCW at the time.
And that was that whole thing with Bret Hart. Like you kind of got a feel for Vince in the time frame where. Alundra Blaze went with the women's championship, threw it in the fucking trash on.
Oh, that was I was watching when that happened.
Yeah,
it was like, wow, really?
And then he was scared that Bret was going to do it, and Vince is talking. He was in there talking with Bret, or he was in there talking about Bret with Shawn Michaels and Triple H, and they're like, just take it from his ass. I mean, that's if we got to, we got to. So they did.
I mean, to be fair, you remember when WWF signed Ric Flair for the first time?
Oh yeah,
and you see, it had more to do with the fact that Ric Flair had a feud with Bill Watts, which was the guy before Bischoff, at the time, and they were just like, it had to do with money and whatever. It's like, okay, screw you, I'm going to take the NWA or the WCW belt, the big gold championship belt. And he showed it coming down to the ring with Bobby the Brain Heenan on WWF television with that belt. And WCW had to make a new belt, which the belt didn't look bad. But they didn't have the big gold belt again till, I want to say, about a year or so since Ric Flair was signed to the WWF. So, because that was his whole gimmick there, the real world's champion.
Mm-hmm.
So that it had more, and so it's only fair play. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take your belt, your women's title belt, throw it in the trash.
Okay, enough fucking wrestling.
Okay.
It's like, just stop. It's like you're talking about shit I can't reference, I don't understand, and I don't care about.
Well, we don't care about it either.
Well, here's something you will understand. Tonight's episode of Frank's Cantina has been brought to you by Ginger Ale and Jim Beam Whiskey.
There you go. Very,
there
very
you
nice.
go. Yeah, that I can understand.
There you go.
Well, see, now you know what happens and how we all feel when you waffle on about Aussie stuff that we're upside down about, going, what the fuck is he talking about? So we got a little payback on you.
Speaking of Aussie stuff, Mr. Peabody, have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called The One Pot Chef?
No.
Oh gosh, that guy. He's this very fat guy, very fat gay guy, but he makes these amazing recipes. But after he makes the thing, he's like, "Let's have a taste." And so he has a taste. He's like, "Oh my god!" It's just hilarious.
No,
but granted, the recipes are good.
It's your take on the Australian accent. Let's have a taste. Let's have a taste.
Let's have a taste.
No,
but it's the Australian accent with a gay lisp, which is hilarious.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But isn't it, throw another shrimp onto Bobby?
No, it's throw another chip on the Barbie.
But the guy's like 400 pounds.
But when you say Australian accent with a gay lisp. That's the best I can come up with. Yeah, throw another chip on the Barbie.
Oh man!
Oh.
And who knew that was going to come out of you?
Who knew?
Who
It's like-
knew?
The
Who
fact
knew
is,
you were such a character?
you've known me for a while now, and you know
Oh.
anything can come out.
Oh yeah, I mean I did, but it's just like these poor people here. Like this is great. It was like listening to Jesse earlier on Mike's show. He's like, yeah, this guy, Mr. Peabody, was telling me about this shit. You know, we're talking, and I'm dying in the chat because I'm just like, oh my god, this is great. And I'm like, yes, Jesse, it was Mr. Peabody. You know, and
Movie. Gosh, that's a horrible movie.
This is all your fault.
yeah,
I know what hell looks like now.
You guys are just terrible. But it's like so Jesse, tell me what you thought of Meet the Feebles.
Like I said, my little final thoughts. I have no idea what I just watched.
I did warn you. I gave you fair warning.
Like Brian was saying, there was a Bill Cosby. I
There
think
was
the
a Bill
walrus
Cosby.
represented Harvey Weinstein.
Well, I did give you fair warning. It was I told you what it was. I said it was the R-rated Muppets, and I said there's shit in there that you don't want to know about.
that is true.
The rabbit was funny when
Yeah.
he couldn't get out. When he can't get out of the carrot, it's just like.
And I did warn you about the fox. Sodomy.
And the two pillars next to him, Heather pointed it out. They looked like dicks.
They are. They are. And it's like, and they shoot. And they go.
And then Kyle's mom, the hippo, gets naked and she starts shooting everybody.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're fat and you smell bad."
Oh, why did you bring that out? It's not my baby. There's no proof.
Yeah, the baby thing. Jesus
Like a
Christ.
baby elephant from a chicken.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why it's so funny. It's so bizarre that you have to laugh.
Yeah, it's completely and utterly ridiculous. It's pretty
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. But I was surprised because when you said you found it on YouTube, I had a look and I found it on YouTube. And I thought, you've got to be kidding. They've got that on YouTube? I was like,
Well, no one wants to claim it. That's the thing.
that makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
But,
we made that piece of crap.
Well, that makes sense, like because there's a whole lot of people on YouTube that shouldn't be there, and Meet the Feebles is one of them.
Well, what was that? Like, what, 80 grand to make? And you know that at least 20 to 30 of that went to cocaine.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, the cocaine went to the writers. Yeah,
Which that's that's how they had to pay the writers.
So,
They just paid the writers in coke.
Pretty much.
There's Tom from Mead. He was saying Peter Jackson and his wife and I think a couple of their friends wrote it.
on cocaine.
On cocaine.
It had to
yeah.
be cocaine. I mean, to see how that would get done without cocaine is beyond me.
It would be hard. It would be hard to fathom, really.
I just was dying because we were talking about that. Mr. Peabody's like, "Oh, did you guys watch it?" I'm like, "No, man, I think they're watching it now." And he's like, "Oh, I thought you guys would have watched it already." I go, "Well, it always kind of depends on when Jesse gets up."
Yeah, I fell asleep for quite a while.
No, because you guys are talking about watching it at midday. Midday for you is midnight for me. So it's like I figured you'd already watched it by the time I'd wake up. Yeah.
So what's it? What time is it there right now?
It's 9:12 in the morning.
Oh, right on. So we're exactly 12 hours apart. That's super simple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's 9:12. Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Hey, James Clark. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us. You just got us goofy people, at the bar again. We got Brian drinking. Got Mr. Peabody upset for a minute because he didn't know a lot about American wrestling, and the three of us were giggling and laughing. And I think that's what pisses YouTube off the most is the four of us are having a laugh.
I do know a little about American wrestling because way back when I was still a teenager, my friends were into wrestling, and so they talked me into going to see the wrestling, and we were in the first couple of rows, and. Right. So I was watching the wrestling and thinking, okay, my friends like this, I'll watch this. And I'm sitting there watching these guys, and they're sitting there, they're holding each other, and they say, I'm going to do this to you. Are you ready? And the other guy would say, yep. And he'd flip him. And I was like, and then he'd stop and say, I'm going to do this to you. Are you ready? And he'd go, yep. And so I was sitting there going, really?
So they didn't have it. They haven't choreographed it. They hadn't rehearsed it.
No, they were telling each other what they were going to do.
Oh, no, that's not how it should go.
Well, dude, this is way back before, because Peabody and I are older than you guys, so I mean that's the way it was.
This was, I think, I'm not sure about
like really early 80s wrestling was kind of lame.
I think it was WWE. I'm not positive.
WWE.
But yeah, we had some of the old names. The Russian guy, the old Russian wrestler. Yeah, we had him and a few of the old guys there. All the other guys were just like locals, obviously. But when they started coming in and saying, we could hear them talking. It's like, I'm going to do this. All right, no worries. And it's like,
well, I mean, at house shows now, and I haven't done sound for a couple of them. Is they'll kind of project, and you could actually hear it pretty well. Yeah, because they are higher up, because they're on a ring that's like 4 feet above the ground.
I heard everything they said, and it's like it's supposed to be a wrestling match, and I'm sitting there listening to them. It's like, huh? What? Oh, this is bullshit.
Yep.
But I mean, I understand that some play it up for the audience and everything like that, but it's like they were telling each other exactly what they're going to do before they did it.
Dame Clarks.
And I just thought.
I mean, the last time I actually saw a house show actually put on was Florida Championship Wrestling, which is a subsidiary of the WWE. It was actually pretty entertaining. I'll tell you that much. I mean, the guy did a standing moonsault. And he kept on saying, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah," so they could do the characters pretty well.
I was just sharing my experience. I didn't give that as an intro for you to start talking about fucking wrestling again.
Well, okay. Well, I will give it to you this much.
He was just talking about an independent thing. Though.
Yeah, one time I did sound for a festival.
Yeah,
it was called Vile Fest in Ohio.
Yeah,
I was at the recording workshop, and so part of the festival was, it was down there at the fairgrounds, and then you go over to the actual civic center part of it, or the amphitheater part of it, and you'd see wrestling like during the day, and you see actual performance shows at night. So I went down, I saw NWA wrestling, and I'll be honest with you, it looked pretty damn fake, and it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus whoever for the NWA title, whatever, and it seemed pretty fake, because you could actually see the fist like with the like 2-inch gap from the face, when they punch him on the turnbuckle, So yeah, I could see that there is bad wrestling shows, there really are, they exist. Especially when the camera's not on.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. All right, so I got something funny for you to watch, and Mr. Peabody, this way we'll get off wrestling, and you don't have to be mad about wrestling, but this is actually pretty funny. It is fun to mess with the Aussie. What can I say? Love him to death, but it is pretty funny. All right.
The world has caught a virus, so I've written you a poem. We need your help to cure it, so stay the fuck at home. And if you've got 12 kids or you're living on your own, lock it down and isolate and stay the fuck at home. If you think you're not at risk here, you're living in a dome. It spreads faster than a hooker's leg, so stay the fuck at home. Go over and shout and stay the fuck at home, but I feel fine. I don't feel sick. I'll go out on my own. I'll think of you selfish prick.
Nice troll.
Fuck at home. From LA through to Berlin, from Wuhan to Rome. There's people dying every day, so stay the fuck at home. If you need to contact family, use Facebook, Skype, or phone. We've got the fucking internet, so stay the fuck at home. The only way to slow it down is isolate, not roam. Please help the world get back on track and stay the fuck
Hookah in the background.
Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home. Don't you be a fucking dick. Please stay the fuck at home.
They should hire that dude because they're redoing Animaniacs from what I hear.
Right. Well, my whole thought was, since we got a copyright claim.
For the defense of their freedom and their.
So, yeah, since we got a copyright claim, copyright that, YouTube, because, bite me.
Stay the fuck at home.
That shit had me dying. When I first saw that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I can take it to another level of funny. That guy looks just like James Ramsey. James Randi, the guy that is an illusionist, and he proves everybody to be fake.
Oh, I know who you mean.
Yeah.
I seen him on YouTube.
He looks just like him.
Yep, with a longer beard.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I got. Is it James Randi? Is it?
I don't know his name, but I know the guy you're talking about because I've seen multiple videos of him from doing the high strangeness.
He's the guy that offered $1 million to anybody that could prove that they're a psychic, and it hasn't been claimed yet. But he actually will disprove people that claim to be superhuman.
Wow.
So watching James Randi play that song is funny to fuck. It's me. It's funny as fuck.
Well, that's all right because Jesse had to mention it, so now I got to share it because he did mention the Animaniacs, and because of that, now I got to share this because I was debating on doing it or not, and then since you decided to mention it.
Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too. Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Mexico, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, Taiwan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam.
I mean, I did do a little research for the show this time because sometimes you just need something to fill in. Oh, spit on my orange.
What the hell was that?
Customers spit on the oranges, and then this will be the last one I got.
Whoa! Hey! Don't touch me!
Brack.
Don't touch me! Whoa! Hey! Don't touch me! Hey! Don't touch me!
Now, Adam, what you should actually show them Jim's ride, the one that I sent you.
Well, I had pulled this up just for good giggles because the people that we've got watching this should remember some of this stuff, and it is pretty silly and funny.
Well, I wouldn't call this funny, but I am screen sharing this. I mean, it's all right. It's pretty good. I mean, my brother decided to write a couple songs because he's stuck. So anyway,
Okay.
so
Let's go for it.
here's him.
What a man my address. Just me and myself all by my lonesome. Clean the kitchen 7 times. I'm about to lose my mind, and I just can't seem to get out my pajamas. Don't get close to no one, you might catch it, you might die. Wash your hands until you clean them. Don't touch your mouth, your nose, your eye. There ain't no job to get, but I ain't bankrupt yet. Still got food to eat and a place to keep it. But you know some folks are sick, so please don't be a dick. Stay at home and chill out until we beat it. Don't get close to no one, you might catch it, you might die. Wash your hands until you clean them. Don't touch your mouth, your nose, your eye. What a mess. Quarantined at my address. Just me and myself all by my lonesome.
Well, I have to say,
How do you know him?
that's his
Yeah,
brother.
that's my older brother.
And the fact is, I have to say, I'm impressed because, and that's why people need to be impressed with Paul McCartney, because playing a bass guitar and keeping rhythm and singing at the same time is really, really hard.
Dude, I can't sing.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. That's why one of the people I look up to, one of the most, is Jack Bruce from Cream. Right. Because he was the front man for Cream, and he played the bass.
Yeah. But keeping see, because the bass is part of the rhythm, and even playing a guitar and singing, you can distance yourself. But when it comes to the bass, it has to be spot on. It has to be right in with the rhythm, and quite often your lyrics are they're a little bit askewed from the rhythm, and so singing and playing the bass is really difficult.
Oh yeah. I mean, and he does. I mean, when he lived here, I mean, he's moved out of state since, but when he lived here, I mean, he would go in these places in Orlando and play fusion jazz, and typically it would be a 5-string bass. So I mean, when did he branch out into vocals? I don't know. I mean, I know he did on recordings, but it's just he was always just kind of like the side guy, kind of like your George Harrisons or your Noel Reddings or whoever, that you don't expect to do vocals, that that are very talented with their strings. But yeah, he can play guitar. But the thing is, he'll like put like a little thing on there to do the effect, and so he'll do like one track at a time. So it surprised me that I'm seeing him play a 4-string bass, because he's often playing a 5-string bass. Right. I mean, the guy's more talented than I'll ever be musically. He can play by ear. The sound.
Do you have anything of him playing, some standards or anything?
I gotta look at his channel, but he typically plays originals, but he has played standards. But oftentimes, like when he's playing a gig with somebody, whenever it's his time to solo, he'll like throw like the riff of some other song in there, like Crazy Train and something like that.
Right.
I don't know. He's just he's a little cocky.
When I went to the Glam Slam Metal Jam, they were playing some song, then they busted into Crazy Train, and everybody loved that for like 2 seconds, and they went back to the song.
Anybody talking about the Come Home?
No. I was going to say, it's like I'll add in the stupid comment and say, "Did he learn Smoke on the Water?"
No.
Oh gosh, that's not even the bass part though.
Yeah. But the thing is, do you do it like this,
dun, dun, dun,
or do you play it up here like him? 3, 4.
Oh gosh.
That's enough of that.
I'm
Right?
sorry. I just had to add in that stupid comment. Is like because like, well, why didn't you? Most people learn smoke on the water. It's like, well, why? Because it's commonly known tune. I mean, there are
I used
commonly
to know My Woman from Tokyo. I can't remember
commonly
it,
known
though.
tunes. We all know commonly known tunes. But the fact is we don't want to play them. But
It's
that
like Iron Man.
your brother is very good on the bass, and if he can play bass and sing at the same time, he's
Oh, yeah.
he's a fucking genius.
Oh yeah, you see, here's the funny thing with my family is my father can play just about any instrument and do sound and stuff like that, and he's good at all of those stuff. But my brother is a prodigy at playing bass. My sister, she can just sing like no one else's business, and me, I can just sit there and do sound.
Wow. But you
Sober,
sound
sober, drunk, high, whatever.
So
doesn't
you're
matter.
a dud. You're a dud.
now because you can do sound, but you're also a chef.
Yeah, and he cooks too. That's the funny thing. He cooks too. And we all know how to cook. We all like came out of the womb knowing how to cook. Like we could just like stumble into the kitchen, not even fully alert, and then make an omelet. It's just
Think
like
about
that.
it. That's cool. You've got a family of musicians.
Oh man, I got spaghetti sauce on my diaper again. Oh fuck.
Pretty much.
I mean, you got the
Of course,
sound
I
guy,
wouldn't care about it.
and the guitar player, so you're good right there, and you all know how to cook. So
Yeah, I mean, and I could play okay. I'm not. I'm not the genius, but just give me a chord chart and I'll play.
I think you're the same level as me. It's like, as I said, I learned to a certain extent and stayed there. So I'm pretty sure you play at the same level as me. But as far as doing the noodle fingers, that's not good. That's not for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do like noodling around a little bit. I mean, because
I think we can all do it a little bit, but it's like,
Yeah.
And I do play when I do multi-track recordings, I do play my own lead. But yeah, if you told me to play something on lead, I'd say no.
Yeah. I mean, that's the key. Is like you should never be ashamed to be humble, and some people look at that. Like I've run into guys that are really good vocalists, but one band that I did sound for, and they were my roommates. I mean, the roommates were the rhythm guitar / vocalist and the lead guitar. And you want to talk about jealousy, especially from the vocalist, because he always felt like he could be good enough, on guitar. And he got pissed off whenever we had the lead guitar do the tracks on the recording.
Yeah.
And even the rhythm tracks. It's just like, there's some point, like if you want a certain sound, there you go. But if you don't want it, then you just want to do a meat and potatoes chug, whatever you want to call it. It's just like, well, how do you want to do it? And you just got to go with it. And you got to not get jealous of this guy.
Well,
and
the fact is, when you're in a group, everybody has their place.
Yes.
Exactly.
And so you go with that. So, and everybody has their weaknesses and strengths. So you go with those weaknesses and strengths. The fact is, I knew that my lead guitarist was fucking brilliant. So it's like, so I just let him go. It's like, I think this is basically what I'm playing, right? Because most of the stuff we did was original. So I'd say this is my song. This is where this is the area that I'm in. Go for it. And he used to come up with the most brilliant stuff. And so I just let him go, because I knew I couldn't do it. He did it. That's why we were such a good group, because and the drummer, the funny thing with the drummer, I've known the drummer that I worked with. I'd known him for many, many years. He's a good friend of mine. And most of the time, my rhythm is not crash hot, right? My timing is not great. Right, so I would face the drummer and play, and he would watch exactly what I was doing on the guitar, and he would play to my playing. So the drummer would keep time with what I was doing, not so much what was in tempo. Do you know what I mean? And so when it came to play live,
like a reverse metronome.
Yeah, so when it came to play live, we said, okay, I know that my timing's not crash hot, and I know you go off my cues. How are we going to do this? So when we played live, we sort of angled ourselves so that I wasn't actually facing the crowd so much. I was actually angled around a little bit so that the drummer could see what I was doing. But we got better eventually, and then I didn't have to face him at all. But yeah, it was funny because the first time we played live, it's like, how are we going to do this? Because the whole time I've been facing the drummer, so we had to, and I had to turn around and face the crowd. So I was doing everything on this funny angle. James, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Not James. Sorry, Jesse.
Well, the thing you could have done was
when you're working with other artists, you have to work with them, and they have to know what you're doing. And sometimes they don't know exactly what you're doing, so they need to see what you're doing.
how come you didn't think of a mirror?
You can't put that on stage.
Just paint the back of it, make it look like a decoration.
Yeah, well, in that case, he's reading everything backwards anyway. But
I mean, does it have to do with like monitors? Like, do you need like floor wedges and stuff like that, or do you guys...
we had that stuff as well. But he needed to see, because he could tell exactly when I was going to go heavy or light on the guitar. He could tell when I was going to change chords. And so I sort of just angled myself so he could see exactly what I was doing. And it worked. But eventually we got to the stage where I didn't need to face him, because he was so used to the way I played. He knew that my tempo was like this and that, but he knew when I was going to go heavy. Because when I go heavy, my rhythm goes out. Jesse, I think you can understand that. When you're playing, if you're playing a song that's soft and hard, right? So you play the soft parts and everything like that. It's all intricate, and you're playing nice and soft and everything like that. But when you get to the heavy part of the song, you tend to go a little bit faster. But it was just a funny thing.
The other thing is, if you have your one pickup set up for the soft part and the other pickup set up for the hard part, and you got to switch the switch real quick.
Yeah. Well, I never did that. I've never actually switched between pickups on.
What do you play? Is that a Stratocaster you got right there, or?
That's a Fender. That's a Fender Squire. Yeah.
Okay, like a Squire, but that's a Strat model, right?
It's a Strat model. Yeah.
Okay. I could tell you. Now, do you like switch to the back to do like a kind of like a solo or a lead, or do you just stay where you're at?
No, I leave it set as I go. Yeah.
All right. My favorite to be in that combination is like the fourth one down, which is the back two pickups, but they're out of phase. So you have five clicks on the switch, but you have three pickups. Yeah, and the fourth one is like the back two out of phase, which is better than the last one, which is just the back pickup, which unless you're playing on the really high, and I mean high notes, go ahead and use that pickup, but if you're not, then don't. Because what that'll do is that'll at least give you some meat, and it's actually going to pick up your high mids. And that's probably what you're going to do anyways. Even if you go super high, it'll still pick it up pretty good anyways. It ain't going to matter. But once you go on the back pickup, unless you're going super high, I'm talking about frequency high. I'm not talking about volume high.
Yeah.
It sounds like crap. Sounds like a tin can. I hate that.
Well, I've actually, this one I only picked up a few months ago. And this one's different because this one's got a humbucker, so it's not a standard. Have a look.
Oh wow. Okay, so you got a humbucker.
Yep.
Oh wow. Well,
Uh,
that's actually pretty good. So even if you go to the back, it still sound pretty bad.
But what I can tell you, my favorite guitar to play is actually a Telecaster.
Right.
I love the Telecaster. I love the sound. I love the feel of it.
Telecasters could get really nice and chunky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I prefer. But
especially if you know what you're doing with it.
yeah. But
Like, you ever hear a Telecaster through an orange amp? Sounds great.
My guitar teacher, who's my son's piano teacher now, he has this Telecaster that's not a Fender. I forget who made it. But when he plays like an A chord, the Venetian blinds on the other side of the room rattle. I love that guitar. It's like the world's best rhythm guitar.
It hits that right pitch just to make the blinds rattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thing had beef to it, man.
Yeah, but yeah, I prefer the Telecaster. I prefer the feel of the Telecaster. I mean, I played full Fenders. I played full Fender Telecasters. I played Rickenbackers, and my favorite guitar would be the Telecaster. But even the Squire Telecaster is pretty good.
And remember, guys, he's in Australia, so he's upside down. So he's playing upside down with the rest of us. So that's freaking talented.
Yeah. So here's how the guitar looks to me.
Now, do you put a block in there for your tremolo?
No.
Okay, well, here's the trick. Unless you're using a whammy bar, put a block in there. Put a block in there so the tremolo don't move at all.
Oh, no. Okay, I understand what you're talking about. No. They're fully tensioned. So the springs in here are fully tensioned so that it doesn't move.
Right. I mean, I have, believe it or not, a Silvertone Strat.
Wow.
Yeah, and it doesn't go out of tune. Why? Because I put a block in there.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Eric Clapton, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, no, but no, all I do is tension them up. So that does not move. But this guitar is like the other guitar. I took it apart. I cleaned it all up. I polished all the frets, put new strings on it, and I'm happy with it. But there's two other guitars I'd get. I'd get another Telecaster, whether it would be a kit form or a Telecaster Squire. I don't care because I can't afford the real one. And the other thing I'd get would be another 12-string. Sorry, everyone went quiet.
Oh, no, not 12-string. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but no.
Somebody texted me to explain how to make a PayPal account.
But
send money to my PayPal so I could get another 12-string.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first guitar I learned to play on was my father's guitar. And then for Christmas, because I was learning the guitar, my parents bought me a cheap Strat with the practice amp, the Squire 15, and I learned from there. And then they sent me for lessons, but the lessons I already knew what to play. Mm-hmm. But in the first lesson, he taught me about bar chords, so I already knew all the chord shapes. All I did was the bar.
Right.
So then I could play anything all up and down the guitar. And then he was trying to teach me to read music. Now I could read music, but I can't read music and play at the same time. So I would bullshit him the whole time and say, like, oh, he wants me to learn this song. So I'd say, oh, how would you play it? And I'd watch how he'd play it, and then I'd just repeat what he did. And then, but after a while, he cottoned onto that. And one time, he put his hand over the music. He says, "Where are you?" I said, "I don't know."
That's hilarious.
But I would play by ear, and but after learning on the electric guitar for a little bit, my next guitar was a 12-string guitar. So I played a 12-string for many years, and that 12-string,
they're nice,
Adam, was a Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've loved Washburns ever since. So that's why I've always bought Washburns.
I like Washburn. You know why I like Washburn is because of their affordability, and it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, I've
Now-
got a Washburn acoustic. I got it for like $100 out of a pawn shop, and it still had the little sticky thing on the pick guard, so like it was never played before.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like,
But
it drives like
man,
a truck.
well,
It's
I
definitely
paid-
a strummer.
I paid 250 for mine out of a pawn shop.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I definitely got a deal. I saw it on the wall, and I was like, that looks pretty fucking news. And I was like, I'm gonna just buy this real
the trick
quick.
is with pawn shops, especially American pawn shops. Whether you go to Cash America or Value Pawn are the two ones I recommend. And you see something you like, and my recommendation, unless it's in a guitar-heavy town, unless it's in a musician-centric town, is come back in a week. If that guitar is still there, it's priced the same. Come back in 3 days, that price will drop.
That's smart.
Yeah, because with pawn shops, especially Cash America and Value Pawn, they have a high standard of making sure items move. So if they have to price drop, they will price drop to at least to the point where they would at least make at least a $25 profit. So if you see something you really like, come back in a week, see where they're at.
Well, it's like my Washburn was actually priced at $295, and so I offered them $250, and they said no, and actually I offered them less, and they said no,
less at first, yeah, because you said,
and then I said, okay, I'll pay $250, but that computer monitor I want to pay $40 for. So I bought two things at the same time, and the monitor was like $70. So I got the monitor for $40, and I got the guitar for $250. But I did get a good hard case.
Nice.
And I didn't realize it came with a hard case, but this is a really good hard case. The only problem is that at the time I bought it, it had fucking Aboriginal art all over the front of it, done with fucking liquid paper or something like that. So
good old Aboriginal art.
But I managed. It was all down here, but I managed to get it all off. So now it's all clean.
Nice.
But no, this is a really nice hard case, and you guys know, an acoustic does need a hard case, especially if you're traveling, because the soft case is not going to happen, and it'll fuck your guitar right up. But so. And this hard case, if I went to go buy a hard case like this in Australia, this hard case would probably cost me about $150.
Oh yeah, easy.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much
A good case ain't cheap.
Yeah, no, it's solid, yeah, and it's lockable. But it's a really good hard case, and I didn't even know it came with a guitar.
Yeah,
I negotiated the price of the guitar without knowing it came with a hard case.
And got himself a monitor for just $40. So for $290,
yeah,
a hell of a deal. I remember talking with him about it because we were giggling about it. He's like, "Well, first I offered him this, and they said no." And I said, "Well, I'll give you $250. I want that monitor."
You know how Nikki Sixx got his first guitar?
He sucked a dick?
No, he goes into the music store, and he goes in with a guitar case, and he has it unlocked, right? He asks the guy for a set of strings that were higher up on the shelf. So the guy's reaching for him, and when the guy turns around, he grabs a guitar, the first guitar in arm's length, and he puts it in the case. And he said he walked out the door with the price tag hanging out of his guitar case. And then when he got it back to his buddies, they're like, "That's a bass guitar, dude."
If it was the bass guitar, how did it fit in the case?
Because he had like some old acoustic case.
Yeah, but even an old acoustic case is not long enough to take a bass guitar.
I don't know.
That's
never
why.
really thought about it that much.
That's why shit was hanging out of it.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
It would have had to be a soft. It would have had to be a soft case.
Oh, Tina's backstage.
yep. I see her. It just popped up. There she is.
Hey
Hello,
guys,
Tina.
Hey, Tina.
Mr. Peabody. Oh my God! It feels
Tina,
like
why
it's
are you
been-
all dark? Where's your picture?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Oh,
Tina,
stop,
I
Tina.
haven't talked to you for a while since I've
It's
been on.
been. I know.
And
So
here I
many
had
you.
arguments with Mr. Peabody talking about you, and he got you confused with so many people. And he's like, I don't remember. I'm like losing
Yes,
my
he
mind. I'm like,
does.
it's Tina,
Yes,
our
he does.
Tina that we talked with Fed on, and everybody else did multiple streams.
You
I'm
know
like,
why?
"Trust me."
You know, Frank. You know why? Because me and Mr. Peabody know each other through Mike Angerhauser. I think, right?
Not as Fed. Adorable.
Is it
no,
just Fed? God, I can't even remember anymore.
I'm pretty sure it's just Fedorable. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He kept getting me mixed up with Tina B from
Yeah.
Movie Blog.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not that Tina, the other Tina with the kitty cat. I go, she's got the bad leg, and he's like, he's drawn.
You don't know about the leg.
Yeah, he's drawn a blank, and then he got confused with Bonnie, and I'm like, no, not Bonnie. I'm like, it should be dip streams on Fed's channel with her.
Come on, it's Teach the Aussie Day. Come on.
Yeah, he didn't know I hurt my leg because it's been that long since I've talked to him.
Your leg broken?
No. I just well, I'll tell the story. I mean, we got plenty of time, right?
Yeah, go for it.
First, I've had issues with my lower back. I got like the what's it called? I guess the disc are deteriorating.
You have a pain nerve or sciatica?
Yeah, big time. And I've had like lower lumbar shots before, and anyways, I thought I had a UTI, oddly, and I went to a walk-in clinic because it was hurting low left, on my back. And I went in there, and I gave them a urine sample, and the doctor came back in. He's like, "You don't have a UTI." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Did you hurt your back?" And I'm like, "No." And I guess it's just from, doing stuff around the house. Who knows? My cousin has an autistic son, and he's epileptic, and he's a full-grown man. I got to pull off a wall sometimes, when he's because he has grand mal seizures. But anyways, I guess I just heard it around the house. So I'm like, okay. But luckily that doctor went ahead and treated me for the UTI just in case, because I was so adamant about it. I was like, no, it doesn't feel like the back, And then I left there, and like 2 days later, I just bent over. I had a box of Rice Krispie cakes in my hand, bent over to put it underneath our
This sounds really bad.
Right? And something in my groin popped so loud you could hear it.
Ooh.
Okay? And that still hurts, by the way.
A tendon?
I think so. I mean, that's next, but with all this shit going on, who can get anything checked, Yeah. And then the next day I got bit by a brown recluse spider.
Oh, okay.
On my arm, okay? But you know what? Because I went to that walk-in clinic, and the doctor, just in case, treated me for the UTI, I had those antibiotics that I was taking. And thank God for that, because I think that cut my scar 3/4 that I got on my arm right now from the little bastard. But then after that happened, this gets better. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and my cousin's autistic son walks in, and he tries to pull the chair out when I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, no.
The leg got snagged on like the carpet, and when it popped loose, it cracked my knee into next freaking year.
Oh, I had a girlfriend that did, as a joke, she pulled the chair out from under me, and I fell backwards and cracked my ribs.
God bless you, man. Did you break up with her, please? Tell me.
No, I stayed with her. Even after she hit me with a broom. But
see, you're glad.
It's like that Rod Stewart song, Maggie May.
That's a good song, man.
But
is that what that's about, Brian?
Just
Well,
to let
I
everybody,
like you kicked me in the head or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
but just let everybody know, what she's talking about is deferred pain. So in your intestines, there's no actual pain
Right.
nerves, and in your bladder, there's no pain nerves. So
No.
when if you've got a UTI or anything like that, there's no pain nerves. It's only external stuff. But
Right.
what your body does is it refers the pain to somewhere else. So it might come across as back pain or side pain, but
Right.
yeah. So that's what she's talking about. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I thought I had, but I did not. And thank God, though, like I said, thank God that guy went ahead and almost treated me because, my cousin's like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to the emergency? I'm like, I'm going to have to now. I got bit by a brown recluse. It'll just eat through my skin or it kills your skin cells,
No, just confuse the shit out of them. Walk in there and say, I got attacked by a drop bear.
Right. I wish I'd have thought about it.
Those damn drop bears again, man.
All right. So I went in there and then they put me on I think it was Keflex. They said it was like a strong antibiotic.
Just tell them it was a drop bear with magpie aerial backup.
So, anyways, that's what happened to me. That's the whole story.
So how are you feeling now? You feel
I
all right?
still, yeah. So I didn't want to go back to emergency because of all this shit. So I made an appointment with a specialist. Took me almost a month to get in there with them. And last week, I had my first bout of shots in my lower back. That stopped that. So I still got the groin and the knee to go. And I go back next week, and I'm thinking, he said I could take them either or. He said, you want them in the knee? Tell me. You want them in the back? Let me know. So I think next week when I go, I'm going to take it in the knee. And then the third week, I'm going to take the third shot in the back again.
Well, at least he didn't turn around and say, do you want it in the ass?
Much money
That's
that
gonna
I've been
cost way
spending on
more.
this. I feel like I've been taking it in the ass. I had to buy a walker and braces and, I didn't have to buy the crutches, but, just stuff to help me get around.
Yeah, and then all this insanity happens. I felt so bad because I know you from so far back, and and it was Fed's channel because DJ brought Mr. Peabody, and I to Fed's channel.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
That's how we all met each other, and then Fed was doing those late night streams, which for Peabody, it's AM time for him when it's nighttime for us. So he was fine with it, and I'm like, no, man, I was asleep. Sorry, bro. And he's like, oh, you missed a great show. I'll go back and watch it. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. But it was just so funny talking with him, trying to explain to him who you were. And I'm like, she's got the cat emblem, that's the cat emblem on her thing. And he's like, I don't know. I go, listen to this at this point, and you'll hear her voice, and you're going to know who she is.
Right.
So,
He did.
it's
That's funny.
sound recognition.
I do recognize your voice now because it's fluent talk.
Right.
Bits and pieces. No, I'm not going to recognize that.
That's funny. Yeah, no, it's just been so. I mean, I can't remember the last time me and Mr. Peabody talked. I really can't.
Trust me, I talk to this guy all the time, but there'll be weeks we can't talk because his internet is bullshit.
This is very, very much true, but at the moment it's working perfectly. So
awesome.
Don't say anything.
No jinxes, yeah.
I think it's because we're using StreamYards. No, I was right. StreamYards.
That's funny.
It just compresses everything, and it's like, okay, we will work.
That's right.
I mean, at any time, if I can't get a hold of him, I just get a hold of his ma, and then be like, hey, tell Peabody I'm thinking of him, and hoping he's doing okay, and let me know if he's all right. And
because you know that Adam's been adopted by my ma.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, I'm like, how sweet.
It's like, and it's like, because she tells me, she's like, oh, I talked to Adam today. Have you talked to Adam? It's like, I've tried.
Well, Mr. Peabody, I just sent you something in the private chat. I sent everybody something in the private chat. So that right there, to avoid copyright, is a video of my brother playing Saturday in the park on acoustic guitar in a club.
Oh, cool.
It's like
I would like to listen to that. Actually,
I mean, I know. Do you mind, Adam? I mean, I don't want to get you copyright struck.
No, put it up.
You're up.
Okay.
I sent it to Peabody on his Discord, so he's got the link directly too.
All right.
Okay.
So let's do that.
No, play it because like this is not monetized, so And if it's your brother playing it, then how can they, if they do a copyright claim?
How come I'm not subscribed to this? He son of a bitch! I know I was subscribed to this channel. I know it 100%.
I think your brother needs to. I think your brother needs to subscribe to my hair.
Well, I mean, he
Your
did
hair's
let his
getting
hair
long,
down.
by
I mean,
the
it's not
way.
going to be blonde, but
I mean, actually, it was long, but I don't think I've ever seen it that long, Mr. Peabody.
Oh, it's been longer.
can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Remember you
or
once
did I
said
not turn the audio on?
There's no audio. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me fix that. 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, he
Sorry,
let his
everybody.
hair grow out. That was the funny part. The dogs are going nuts because we got thunderstorms going on, so I'm going to stay
Aw.
muted for a lot of this. But he kept letting it grow and grow and grow, and then he cut it, and it was just kind of funny. He's like,
Yeah, I
"This is
know.
the longest my hair's ever been," and I'm like, "That's some shit."
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember. I'm pretty sure it was a little bit shorter.
Okay, there you guys can hear it now.
Yep. Where's that at, Brian?
I don't know. Probably somewhere in North Carolina.
Oh, in North Carolina. Okay. Good. Good. And playing. Yay. That was good.
Yeah.
He's very good, but what he's doing is he's splitting his concentration between the
Playing.
the playing and the singing.
Yeah.
He's actually got a good range,
Uh-huh.
but when you actually splitting your concentration, you lose your range.
Right.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know what you mean.
when he moved out of state, I mean, it was real hard for him to find people to play with.
Yeah.
Weird.
Because he was used to playing with everybody. I mean,
But he sounds like he'd be good for a date spot.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is he went to an open mic night and just started playing.
Uh,
I mean,
now,
right now he makes most of his money on playing on not playing, but on giving lessons. And he
I,
moved out of state, and he moved away from a scene where he would often get gigs. So he had to go and reinvent himself because his wife, she got a job with the VA, which is something that she wanted for a long time. And it's his second wife, and she's a good sister-in-law. And so it's interesting because the choice of song that he played, because I could tell that playing that song, I'm not trying to out him, but I could tell that he was a little bit homesick because growing up, that used to be on the playlist. My dad would play on the stereo, the big horn section, Chicago, and with everything like that, and I could tell.
Of course, he's your brother.
Yeah. So, I mean, for him to actually sit there and play Chicago, it says a lot. And which I like Chicago too. Don't get me wrong.
Chicago's great. Yeah.
I mean, but he's more of a fusion jazz type of guy.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, I mean, his whole reach with vocalism now.
He's got good range.
His range is good.
Yeah.
And his playing is very good. But it's like you could tell when he was playing, he was struggling between both. If he had a separate guitarist playing for him, he would have sounded perfect.
Oh yeah, I know that. I mean, that's no doubt.
Yeah.
But the fact is, his playing is very good. His singing is good. It's just you could see that you could see it in his face. He was concentrating between both, and I understand where that comes from. That's why I only play basic rhythm, because if I try any, there's only one song that I've ever played bass to that I've sung, but that was very simple bass. It was like so I didn't have to think about it. So you could do that, no problems. But as soon as you go,
you made it more of like a finger rumble thing so you could sing.
I mean, if you notice, he's not been playing with a pick at all.
Yes,
I mean, he hates playing with a pick.
I wonder.
I even know that with his guitar playing, but
yeah, and I'm sure when he was learning, you saw his fingers bleeding quite a bit.
Yeah,
probably, but I mean, because he's played bass for so long, they're so callous now.
Oh yeah, no, they'd be callous now, but it's like when you start off, especially on a steel string guitar or a bass, and you do the slides and things like that, you just lose skin really fast.
Oh, yeah, you do. I remember one time I played bass for 2 hours, or I played a gig for 2 hours. I got a couple of guys. Hey, you guys know these songs? We're just gonna sit out here jam out for 2 hours, just so we could each be guaranteed $200 a piece. And I was so blistered and calloused by the end of it. But
and I bet your forearm really ached as well.
Sure.
Not so much. No,
really.
No, I do other exercises.
Brian does like exercises and stuff, and yeah.
Because Jesse, the way I play, I'll switch in between like a grab chord or a bar chord, because just to rest my arm. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll do the full bar chord where your finger goes all the way across, and you go up and down, up and down, up and down. But then when you get tired, you'll switch to a grab. So you use the thumb to bar the other chord, the other notes. So that's why that's the other funny thing when playing with other people, they're watching you play and they're expecting you to play a certain way, and when you go from a bar chord to a grab chord, they're going, "What the fuck is he playing?" But I mean, Jesse, I know you understand what I'm talking about. And I'm sure that Brian does it too. But it's like to rest the arm, you will play a different way. And sometimes you'll drop off strings altogether just to get it easier on your hands,
Well,
especially.
yeah. I mean, I mean, for the most part,
Yeah, arm position too. Just like going from playing normal.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just let your arm down a little bit.
it's because
that's
of
what-
music. It's because of music theory. Do I know how to play certain chords, and I don't have
But-
to go by the way they tell you how to play a chord. Because
Yeah.
if you go by that way, it's hard to do depending on the length of your fingers.
Yeah.
So
That's why it looks.
if you just play on the top 4 strings or top bottom strings, whichever way you look at it,
That's why it looks
that's where the chord comes from.
That's why it looks sometimes funny when I'm recording a song and anything like that, and people will see my shoulder go up and down, up and down. It's because I'm switching the position of my hand, and it looks like I'm just going.
Hey, stop that! Right?
Oh, sorry, Tina. Did you get excited?
People's movie.
Yeah, I got excited.
It's just that I've omitted the E and A strings so much, depending on what chord it was, because the chord is for the most part a triad.
Yeah.
And it's the B string that allows you to play the chord.
The triad, like in Zelda.
Well, yeah, it's 3 notes.
But yeah, I tell you what, the B string is the most notorious for going out of tune.
I wonder why.
It's
What's up, Heather?
Hey,
Yeah,
Hey, how you going?
How you doing, Heather?
I'm good. I just got dinner in the oven, so I figured I'd pop in for a little bit.
There you go.
Awesome. Glad
There's-
you could make it.
There's popping.
Yeah,
I
There's always
already did the popping with the shoulder.
Look at Frank's Cantina. It's all allowed. It's like, okay, here's one of Frank's favorite people, and you guys are going to get a kick out of this shit because it's Frank. All right.
This dog's a fucking genius.
Right?
So this reminds me of Brian.
Uh-huh.
For Transformers before G.I. Joe.
Did you see that sign said 35? What about it? You're going 55. No, that's just a suggestion.
Was that because of my car video the other day?
And then there's this one. These are all real quick, so that's the best part about it. It makes it more
Ow.
fun. That,
Get off me.
good old fake book makes it impossible to do it easy.
Ringo, for God's sakes, cat. If I wanted a dog, I would have got a dog. The full moon's driving them all crazy, I think,
Nope, you stand up too drunk.
from yesterday.
I mean, it's Frank's Cantina. What do you think's going to happen? Nope, can't. Too drunk. Sorry.
How do you switch it to the leaves, Adam?
Say it again.
How do you switch it to the leaves?
To the leaves.
Background, yeah.
Oh, how did I?
Yeah.
Oh, for the stream?
Yeah.
Because I found the dogs playing, and I thought it was funnier looking.
No.
It's
How
cute.
did you? Because I can't. On my
Oh.
I think you have to pay for it, don't you?
No. It was that was on YouTube. So that was yeah.
No, we're talking about StreamYards right now, like the background.
Behind all of our pictures.
Oh,
Yeah.
I made it purple.
No, not just purple, but the leaves.
It's black with leaves.
Oh shit! Well, fuck, my blind ass can't see it. I don't know.
Oh, wow. I'm just noticing that.
All right, so here I will.
I mean, Moira's got the same thing, but I guess was it grandfathered in? How long ago?
All right,
was
check
it
it out.
used?
Like here we've got the comments, and then there's whatever the hell this is, and then there was that. So I just kind of started fucking with shit, and that was it. All I did was I went to this and changed that, and then
Uh-huh.
I switched to this instead of default.
Right.
What's a default plane?
Yeah, it's like purple.
Yeah.
That's the banners.
Solid
Yeah, I took the
bar.
color and did that, and then when I did this, it did that.
Oh.
And that's all I did because it won't let me do this, and it won't let me do this because if you want to do that, you gotta.
Bye.
Yep, and they can bite me. I didn't realize.
Yay-o.
Yeah, see, we're learning shit together. This is how you use StreamTards.
That's right. Got it, Brian?
Yeah, I guess so.
You see that, right?
Yeah, I see it. I mean, I wonder if I could do it.
Oh, yeah.
Should be able to.
Why not? Of course you can.
And the best part is, if you forgot what I showed you, you can always rewatch the stream because it's on.
Yay. There you go.
When it was great. I had Peabody with me because I never had to deal with OBS. Used to be, as you all know,
Yeah.
YouTube, you could just stream from your tablet. You could just stream from your phone. And then they made it where you couldn't do that. And he's like, oh, you're going to have to download OBS. I'm like, the fuck is OBS? I'm like, I'm on a Mac, bitch. I don't need shit. Yeah, I was wrong. So I had to download it. And I did. So I downloaded it, and he was walking me through. No, I take that back. My fuck up. That was on my computer. Well, I had to watch the computer version because then, my desktop fucked up. It's gone. It doesn't work anymore. Then I got this Mac. So then on the Mac, I had to watch what we did on the desktop to figure out how to get OBS to work so I could link Discord and everything to make it work with YouTube. So, yeah, it was just funnier than hell. Thank God I shot that video of me and him just bullshitting with each other and talking about how we did it because I surely would not have remembered.
All of it, right?
Yep. I was like, wait a minute. I did this before. There's a video on my watch list. There it is.
So there you go, Brian. Now you know what to do.
Yeah, that's all I did. I was messing with it. I didn't realize it did all that, man, because I was like, oh, well, yeah, I guess it is different.
I guess I just have to play with it.
That's pretty much all my blind ass did. I mean, you got literally a blind guy in front of you shit. So, I mean, I'm not used to StreamYards. I'm used to just using Discord because then anybody that's got the Discord and, knows what to go, they're in, you hear us. Because Mr. Peabody, Brian, and myself did the first one, which was fun with friends.
Discord. I feel like I'm on the phone with my mother. She's got
all the dogs barking.
Yeah, she's got 2 what she calls Yorkies, but they're like, I don't know, 18, 20 pounds. I'm like, you got mongrels.
Oh, damn.
You got mongrels. Somebody's seen your ass coming, mama. That's all I'm saying. And they're like that. I mean, I don't care. You can go beep, and them dogs will go insane. I mean, every conversation, it's like, I'm sorry, I can't hear you, mother. I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
My little dog's sitting behind me, nice and quiet, curled up. And we're sitting outside, too.
Well, for me, it's the storm. So they're complaining about the storm. So
well, that's
like,
scary. Yeah, my mother had to put one of them on I don't know, Zoloft or some shit because of the storms.
Yep.
It would. I mean,
is it nasty? Is it nasty outside, Adam?
Yeah, it's storming. There's rain pouring, and that's how come. Like for a while they were quiet, and then when the thunder hit, they all started barking.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're all like, what in the hell? And little Miss is like, what is going on? Because she's the baby. Well, she's one of the babies. That's Frank's daughter.
So cute.
Miss. And then this is Nellie. And this is Paisley. And what are you doing down there? Lizzie's the little white one down there that looks like, what are you doing? Yeah, you're just being a shit, aren't you? Like, yeah, I'm not getting in a camera frame.
Oh,
she's the one on the ground. She's the one that has the spot that looks like a Mickey Mouse head.
Yeah. She's
cool.
So Mr. Peabody hates emojis, but she's got the emoji body, and he helped name her. That's the funny part.
What's her name again?
Her name is Lizzie.
Oh, that's my daughter's name.
We call her Lizzie Lulu.
Oh,
so cute.
She's on her first heat cycle. That's why she's in my office. And then Paisley likes to escape. Little Miss just got fixed last month, and the two of them are good friends, so she's here. And Nellie also likes to escape. So that's why they're in here with me in the office, because I spend more time in my office than I do in the rest of the house. So, and then out that crazy door on the other side of this here wall, there's more dogs. So they're all out there going nuts, which then makes these guys go nuts. And they're like, we don't like it. Why are they barking?
Why you guys got so many dogs? Are you breeding them?
Yeah, because we're wiener dog breeders.
Okay. God, I got a friend of mine would go insane.
Well, that's why it's Frank and the Shawhan
Yeah.
Wiener Dog clan, because he has a clan.
Yeah, you know what? Wiener dog owners are over the top about their wiener dogs.
Does it have something to do with you're making a wiener dog army for Doomcock?
Yes, so Frank, because Doomcock, I had nothing to do with this. This was not my doing. He called. He said, "I'm their pop. I'm the pop of the wiener dog army." So I'm like, okay, this is Doomcock's angry wiener dog army. It will be death from the ankles down as soon as Pop decides to tell them to attack. So that was the joke, and like he's rolled with it for years now. And it's just great. And he's been on other streams, and I'd be on there, and he'll talk about it. Yeah, he was talking with Jeff Hicks about it. He goes, "Yes, I'm the pop to the Wiener Dog Clan." And I've had it stop the shows a couple different times. I'll post something. He did this on one of his streams recently, where I got real smart for once, which doesn't. And I just wrote a little bit of a lyric, but I changed it up for the life of me. I can't remember what it was. I said, "Give me a home where the Wiener Dog roam." And Pop's on the internet telling the truth. And that's as far as I got. So I type it up, and Doomcock and Gary are doing one of their streams, right? And he sees it, and he stops, and it's focused there for like 5 minutes while they're talking. And then the chat jumps. He scrolls back down. He reads the guy underneath me, and then he reads mine, and I'm like, that is so cool, But yeah, it's just one of those things. But this is all Odin's movie blog's fault. All of this is Odin's fault because he gave Frank a wrench. And then people but Frank got a wrench. And they're like, why'd you give Adam a wrench? He goes, I didn't. I gave it to Frank. Because originally it was just the Shawhan Wiener Dog clan. Because, no joke, the smart TVs and everything had YouTube on them. Frank and the dogs had their own channel so they could watch you. This is when we had less of them. So they'd be in their area with a TV, and I'd put YouTube on, and it would play World Class, and it would play, basically anybody I'd sub to would just go through videos, and that's what the dogs watched all day. I don't have people. And so that's how it started. It became Frank's channel because Odin gave Frank the wrench. Because the backstory was, if you don't give Frank a wrench, Frank likes to collect blue wrenches. Keep in mind they're colorblind. But he knew it was a blue wrench because that's his favorite wrench in the whole wide world. And if you give him a wrench when he builds his Death Star, only the humans that gave him a wrench will be allowed to live on his Death Star. So once again, people were like, why'd you give it to Adam? And it's like, I didn't. I gave it to Frank. So it got named Frank and Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, because before it was just Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan. Yeah, so that's how it happened. It was just kind of a funny thing. So Lethal Lightning gave me a wrench, and Rookie Critic, and all the it's just like, man, Angus. Yeah, and that's how it all started. It was just a joke, And DJ, he's like, fuck Frank, I'm giving it to Adam. So he gave me but I mean, that was just it. Our whole, the whole reason I did YouTube, it actually is Frank's fault. I used YouTube to listen to music because I was too lazy to go get the cassette or the CD out and put it on. And I'm like, all right,
I do the same thing.
Yep. So me being me, since I'm older, I'm like, my kids used YouTube. I didn't have a freaking clue. And then I'd only use it for looking shit up. So I'm like, all right, how do you do this? Or music.
That's what I used to do too.
At the the PlayStation was on. And music's playing. I think I was prepping to do something, cook some kind of food or something. So I'm cutting onions and slicing peppers and whatever. And my music gets interrupted.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like,
hey guys, I'm going to hop out of here just so I could cook something before High Strange.
All right, brother.
I got it, Jesse. Oh, it's getting late. Okay.
Take care, Jesse.
Yeah, good night.
I'll see you in a few, Jess.
All right, peace.
Bye, Jesse.
Hey, have a good night, man.
Bye.
But I'm cutting stuff up and I'm ready to go. And all of a sudden I hear this voice I've never heard before that's saying, so I put this graphic of a man with his head up his ass. It was Jeff Hicks doing one of his reviews. So I listened to the review and I walk into the room and I look at Frank. And I'm like, really? Because he had his paws on the PlayStation 3 controller. He changed the shit, and this is no joke.
That is funny.
I talked with Jeff. I met Jeff. I've explained this to him. I've said this on numerous streams years ago. This is not a joke. The damn dog found World Class Bullshitters, and I listened to his stream, and I'm like, okay, cool, all right. Control away from him. It's about to die. I put on the smart TV. It's playing music. All of a sudden, I hear Jeff Hicks' voice again. And I'm like, what the fuck? Frank's got the goddamn TV remote. And I'm not making this up. So Jeff Hicks is on there, and it was one of the it was either his Star Wars rant or it was the High Council that had Doomcock on it. So you had Doomcock, you had Geeks and Gamers, yes. And that's how I found all these guys, was that stuff was actually starting to watch it. And me being the boomer that I am, even though I'm younger than that, it was like, okay, I'd watch Jeff Hicks. He's like, oh, it's, 7:45 Eastern. Hey, I'm 7:45 Eastern. And he's talking about super chats. I'm like, the fuck is a super chat? And I don't see any of the writing because I'm on a smart TV and it doesn't have
it doesn't have the chat or nothing. Yeah.
No. So he's reading all this shit, and I'm like, the fuck?
Where's he reading that? Right?
I'm like, it must be. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's on Twitter because I don't really use Twitter that much. Well, so I finally had a tablet. And I started watching and I saw that magical little button that said live chat. And I'm like,
live
what?
Chat.
I pushed that little button and there it was. And I'm like, oh, and keep in mind, I'm literally legally blind. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I typed something in there and I'm like, you enjoyed the show, and it was an episode that it had BB-8 on the front title card. And he starts reading it and he reads my thing because it wasn't a super chat. And yeah, for me, it was really badass. I'm like, man, I've been listening to this for a while, and I interact and I met so many people that way. That's how I met, Teeny BB, DJ D, Rookie, on top of Black Reviews. And then through those guys, I met, Lethal Lightning. Well, actually, through Geeks and Gamers, I met Odin, and that's how I met Peabody, was because I was on Odin's stream in the chat, and he got to the point that he was going to eat the chicken in the Wookiee pajamas, but he had to do it at home because his wife wouldn't let him, and that's when Peabody joined. And shortly from that, I learned Discord, and from there, I met Jay Clark, which is James Clark, it's a different guy, and Mr. Peabody, and we used to stay up all night talking on Discord, and that's how I learned the Discord. And from that community, here I am years later with my own channels. On occasion, especially now, putting stuff up because, hey, why not? We ain't none of us got nothing else to do. We might as well live.
No, got that right.
Because we are the entertainment to keep the rest of us sane while we can. But it was literally at the beginning Frank's fault. And when I met Jeff Hicks the very first time 2 years ago, going on 3 years now, and I told him this story face to face, he looked at me and he didn't laugh at me. He didn't treat me like shit. He looked at me and goes, dude, it was meant to be. Because if your dog found me and you are here because of your dog, that says something. This was meant to be. And one of the nicest dudes I ever met, when I was not nice to Jeff because Jeff knew me from the chat. What's the first thing you're going to do if you're going to meet somebody face to face? I got to throw him off his game. He's
it's funny.
Me being me, I'm like, all right, my daughter and my son-in-law and I went to Indy to go see him at Horror Hound. And he was used to me with the longer hair and the big old gray beard looking, old Wolverine man. Well, I shaved all that shit off. So I look like I'm in my 20s instead of looking like I'm in my 60s. So he wasn't expecting that. And I told him, oh, Jeff, by the way, I'm coming on Sunday. I'm bringing you something special, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't tell him what. And I walk up and I hear him because I didn't see him because fuck, I'm blind. But I heard his voice. And I'm like, all right, radar's kicking in. Where's he at? Sonar. I hear him. Whoop, there he is. So we're walking up there, and I look at the thing, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. I read the title card, and I'm like, World Class Bullshitters? I'm like, what do you guys do? And it was Jeff and Dion Hicks. And he's like, oh, we're a channel on YouTube. And I have video to prove this shit, too, by the way. And he goes, oh, I'm a channel on YouTube. I'm like, YouTube? I go, is that on the interwebs? Without missing a beat, though. And I kid you not, like you guys were laughing, he kept a straight face the whole time, and so did Dion. These guys' eyes were locked on me because they wanted to hear what I had to say, and they wanted to, and he's like, yeah, it's on the internet, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, what do you do? And he gets ready to tell me, I go, man, let me tell you, you should talk about that new Star Wars movie. It's the most greatest movie in the whole wide world. Do you want to know why? And they both looked at me, and both these guys are bigger than I am. They looked at me and they're like, yeah, please tell me, with the most sincere look on their face. They wanted me to tell them why I love, that movie. I said, it brought me here to you guys. And I gave Jeff a book. It was an artist print that was done. And for Dion, the kids used to have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it was one of a horse because Dion Green does not like horses. And it was a good joke, and he started laughing. And it was just a blast. We had that. I went up there for an early birthday present, spent the day with the guys. And then this year I went up. Well, last year I went up and saw him again in Indy. This year I was going to go see him, but of course, thanks to the beer virus, everything got canceled in Ohio. So, and I've been on many streams with him on his channel and, Patreon and stuff.
Adam, put up the picture.
Which one?
The one with you and all the guys.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Well, I got to find it first. But yeah, I can do that. But yeah, I mean, it was literally it was so much fun to meet the guys that I've been listening to for months. And, when you actually meet these guys and they're true to their form, just like Odin is, and I'm sure Doomcock isn't, other than, he does do his persona and whatnot. All these people are great. I know all the people I've talked to on here, like if I went and saw Jesse's Jesse. He's not going to be any different.
No, not at all.
Tina, none of us are Fed is Fed because Fed's 5 years younger than me. And I'm just like, all right, cool, man. I know these guys just from talking, and then we've all done shows together. I met Brandon Moist because of World Class Bullshitters, just like I met Peabody. He was going to make it, but he wasn't able to tonight, but we'll do some streams. Proper Jeremy, prime example. Justin Proper, as he is known now, he will always be Proper Jeremy to us. He couldn't make it because he's working, but Thursday, Friday, at some point, we're going to do a stream on his channel. He wants me and Peabody because
it was fast, wasn't it? He got the hell out of there, and where he's at now, quickly.
And then I'm not going to lie to you, like he was, I was worried for him. Then he was, I was worried for him. As soon as he got settled back in Ohio, I was happy. I'm like, dude, I'm just glad.
I know. I told him, I was like, buddy, I'll be praying for you. He's like, I really appreciate that. I'm like,
well, I mean, dude's got my number, and I'm like, you start getting tired, call me.
Right.
I'll talk with you, even if you got to pull over for a bit, or if something happens. If shit breaks down, dude, call me. I'm jumping into Prius, and I'm on my way to come get you. Just let me know. Right. So
good friend, man.
And it's just one of those things. I've never even met him. That's the thing. I mean, but we know each other for years now. Between
you feel like you know each other.
Oh yeah. But that's what I mean. Never met, but we're friends. Right. Everything else. It's like, dude, you're driving across country. Shit happens. If you.
Oh yeah, and by himself too. Yep. Yeah, by himself. Yeah, and that was like some desolate shit he had to go through, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The apocalypse.
Yeah, right. Escape from LA.
Right.
Literally.
Literally. I wish
literally
was. Get the hell out of there.
And well, if you're going to escape from LA, you definitely need Kirk Russell with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know eventually me and Brian's family will get together because me and Brian are really close together.
Well, yeah, I mean we're not that far apart.
No, matter of fact, I used to live where Brian is.
And you know what, you're probably about an hour 15, maybe an hour and a half at most away from me right now.
Well, if you look up Fern Park. Fern Park is so small, so if you use Fern Park, you get a very accurate thing. So use that, Brian. See what it says.
Come on, people. We're all family, even though I'm thousands and thousands of miles away.
Wait, that's not true because you don't exist because Australia doesn't exist. Remember, mate?
Well,
that's right. There is no Australia.
Australia had to remove itself from the planet because as soon as COVID-19 started, we had to remove ourselves from the planet. So we had detached ourselves from the planet, and we are floating in space around the planet.
Awesome.
I mean, we
had our chance. We should have went when we could.
Right. It was even more fun because Mr. Peabody and I would be on Discord talking, and then Lethal Lightning went online, and Little Miss that I showed you the picture there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. We decided to pull a prank on him, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait for this movie. And he's like, what movie? And I'm like, Captain Fatty Pants and Little Miss. And this is long before Lethal Lightning was as big as he is now. You know, he didn't have a lot of subs. So he's like, are you guys trolling me? And we're like, and Peabody's on there going, no, man, check it out. I shit you not. He goes, I'm going to look this shit up. So he's looking it up. He's like, is this what you're talking about? And I'm like, dude, I'm going to Twitter you what I'm talking about. And I sent him the picture of Captain Fatty Pants and Little Miss. And he goes, no, I want to see the Captain Fatty Pants and Little Miss movie. You know?
Everybody wants to see that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Fatty.
You're just about an hour away, a little bit more than an hour away from where I am, Tina.
What is it? What's the time?
Hour 6 minutes.
Hour 6, yeah. I know when that. See, we're an hour apart, literally. So.
Not bad at all. All right, let's see. I got the picture.
Stop whinging. You're talking about a 28-hour flight for me.
Yeah.
Right? Wow.
So
nobody wants to get on a plane right now.
There's
We
me,
can't.
and I'm 6 feet tall and about 250 pounds in this photo, and I look like a little bitch. Because all those guys are just
There you go. That's world class bullshitters for you.
Yeah,
and that's Adam with the 74.
That's cool.
Yeah, with the Punisher. You've got Kendo, Jeff Hicks, Dion Green, Nick Utan, and Channel Dad Brian Lake. And I look like a twig compared to the rest of these guys. And I look even smaller next to Jeff. Because he makes me look like a little child. And I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Jeff is fat.
He's lost weight since, because this was about 3 years plus ago.
Yeah, I know that he's lost weight.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen his video about the distribution problems with stealing Solo.
My daughter saw that video and she goes, oh my God, he never gets on. She goes, you could just tell how mad he was. She goes, but even though he was mad, he's such a nice guy. And it just made me laugh, you know, but I'm just like, oh my goodness. And I mean, I always felt kind of big because I was a big dude there. I mean, I'm down to like 195 now. So I'm 6 foot 195. I've lost weight myself, but it's just like, you know, I always kind of felt bigger. And then I met these guys. I'm like, man, I felt like a little bitch. I'm like, okay, I'm not so bad for a football team. You know,
you're a little wiener.
I was a teeny wanker.
That's so funny.
It's okay. Fun. It's okay. I was the stick in the background.
Mm-hmm. You were the little flag girl.
Yeah, Mr. Peabody's always lean.
Mm-hmm.
Lean.
Yeah, it's even worse because he's not in, you know, normal shit like us. He's got to be all special and, you know, doesn't use the same kind of measurements we use. So, you know,
oh my God, I know. Them damn millimeters drive me crazy. And kilograms.
The metric system is correct. Your system's wrong.
Our system is screwy. Yours is fair. I gotta agree because it's in tens. You know, hell, I had an old Beamer, and you could fix everything on that car with a 9mm and 11mm wrench. I have no complaints about it. I just don't know it.
I have no problem with distance as far as the metric system goes. I have a problem. I have a problem with weight.
I'm off.
That's the problem I have.
Yeah, weight is the problem. But as far as it comes down to like spanners and things like that, we do use both. We use imperial and we use metric. Imperial is your half inch, your quarter inch.
Imperial is different than actual U.S. standard.
It is.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah. I mean, not by much, but enough to where it makes a difference.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're trying to work on something?
Like an imperial foot versus U.S. standard foot is, I want to say, maybe 1 millimeter off.
Yeah.
Which is
it's stupid. It's stupid how it's off like that. Yeah. But it's not that bad.
When it comes to working on bikes or cars, you know, by the pedigree of the car. So if it's a Holden or a Ford, you know you need imperial. If it's Japanese, you know metric. You need metric. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But most of my cars have been Japanese or Korean, basically, and all of my motorcycles have been Japanese or Korean. So that all comes down to metric. So that's all I need. But I have both. I've got So if I need to work on something, I've got both. But when it comes to American cars, I've never worked on one, so that might stuff me up a bit.
A little bit.
Oh my God, they got all these special tools you need. The newer the vehicle, the more tools you need.
Oh,
Literally.
yeah.
Mention the computer.
You mean one of the three master brains? Is that what you
Mhm.
mean?
Oh yeah. So of course that's Frank, right there, the white one. That's Frank. He's awful.
Right in the middle of everything.
Right in the middle. Just all the couches, and they used to be up there on the main level watching
Yeah.
TV and stuff. That's Frank.
It's Frank telling the girls to take it up the ass. Yeah.
No, it's just like, move over. I'm trying to sleep. I'm tired. I don't want
No, he doesn't look tired, man. He looks like I'm ready to go.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Just Frank. They're just like, hey, what's up? We're just dogs. That's what we do.
Hey,
Yeah.
Right?
hey, sweetie, it's all right.
Dogs being dogs.
This is foreplay.
Yeah. It's like that doesn't look
Cute.
comfortable,
He's so
Frank.
cute.
And he's
I
just
know.
like, yeah, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, everything's done.
Aw,
He's like, I don't care. I'm comfortable.
it's fun.
That's all that matters.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna run. I gotta make my coffee and of course pee and
Yep,
get ready
you ready
for the
for pee?
next one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Thanks so much for having me, though. I enjoyed it.
I am glad that you had time to jump on here with us, and I think this is something we're going to
You
keep
won't-
doing.
I just realized I'm not getting any of your notifications. Not that notifications are going on anyways, but they have unsubscribed me from you.
I
Oh, yeah. I got a couple that is unsubscribed from me as well.
Yeah, I have had to resubscribe to Pete's channel before. Give
I
me
had
a
it happen
break.
to Odin's, and I had it happen to World Class Bullshitters. And when I mentioned it to Jeff,
DJG's.
he went live.
Oh
and he-
gosh, I had to like DJ D's video 3 times.
Couple times.
While he was live.
I
While he
know.
was live.
I know.
Wow.
YouTube really hates DJ D for whatever
I
reason.
know.
I'll never know.
They're
That
racist
is true. They
because
have to
they're
be.
racists.
They have. Just
Yeah, they're
because-
racist against 9,000-year-old vampires.
Mhm.
Werewolf, vampires, Puerto Rican,
How in the hell?
Mexican, etc., etc. Yes, exactly. They're jackasses.
All right, guys, I'm gonna leave.
All right,
Bye,
sweetie.
Tina.
Mr. Peabody, so good to see you again, my friend.
All right,
And
guys, I gotta get going. There is a pink
Brian.
moon I'm gonna look at with my
Heather.
lady
Outside.
Oh, pink
outside.
In the real
moon.
world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
'Cause it's got corona.
And hopefully
yeah. There's
see
a
y'all
pink moon
tonight.
tonight. So check it out before you
Okay.
guys hit the hay.
That's why the cats are active.
Brian.
They drive me crazy.
Yes.
Good night,
Hey.
everybody.
Good night,
Night.
Tina. Brian,
night.
tell your wife I started those nails for her.
Okay, I will. Your nails what now?
For her.
Tell her I started the set for her. It'll be a few days, but they'll be done in a few days.
Oh, cool. I'll let her know that. Thank you, Heather.
Okay, thank you. Uh-huh.
All right, good night, guys. Thank you,
Bye,
Adam.
Brian.
Good night, Mr. Peabody. Good night, Heather.
Take care,
Bye.
Brian.
Good night.
Okay.
The internet-
Pooped on
the
the
internet-
floor.
Broken. It broken.
Nah, I'm not broken. But we do have somebody that pooped on the floor. Who pooped on the floor? We've got four suspects.
I did, but I tried to hide it behind the cabinet.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that didn't work. That did not work. Thank God for potty pads. What? Are you tattling? Are you telling everybody it wasn't you? Yeah? That's what you think?
No, that's my shit.
She's telling them. She's like, was not me. Huh, little miss. Was that not you? Yeah. She's like, no, I've been here the whole time. I've been talking to people. She's
I'm
awful.
gonna try a screen share, see what happens.
Hey, go for it.
Okay. See if this works. Share. All right. It broken?
Not yet.
I don't know how to do this.
You should hit screen share, and then you have to hit whatever you're trying to share, and then it'll pop up on my end, and I'll click it so it goes through.
Okay.
So far.
Well, this I'm trying to share. Hang on. All right. So, do I open what I need to share first, or what?
When you hit the screen share here on the stream cards, it should open up the little window, and then you can click whatever it is you're trying to share. I always just clicked the whole screen and then went to what I was doing.
Okay, I'll try it. And I don't know what I'm doing. The screen is so small.
Because it should pop up with something that says your entire screen, application window, or like for me, it says Chrome tab, and then you can choose.
Okay. This is a song that I can't remember all the verses for.
There it is. See, there you are. I got you.
Okay, hang on.
It took it a second to load. You know, that Aussie internet.
Yeah. This is a song that I can't
While you're
remember.
doing this, I got to go pick up this smelly turd on the floor, but I'm going to mute, and you can do what you're doing.
I was like, oh, I'm trying. It's like I'm doing it, and it should be working. But I couldn't remember all the words for this song, so I've only done part of the song.
I like that.
It's like, as I said, I forgot the third verse. And,
Hey, that's okay. You can't tell.
the third verse. The fact is, like, I wrote it down a long time ago, and the lyrics are in a book that years ago I lent the book to a friend of a friend's girlfriend because she liked the lyrics. So I lent her the book. I never got the book back, so I can't remember the third verse. So everything I do, all the old songs that I know that I wrote, I can't remember everything. Well, most of them I can, but the third verse of that song, I can't remember. And I've got is bits and pieces of the third verse, and I'm trying to remember. So I might have to rewrite the third verse. anyway, I appreciate you letting me air it. Anyway,
I liked it. That was a good song. But anyways, my dinner is coming out of the oven and I got kids to feed, so I'm gonna jump off.
okay.
Well, thank you for jumping on and enjoy your supper, Heather.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care, Heather.
Bye.
Stay safe.
And then there were two.
And then there were two. Yeah, it's like yeah. But thank you for letting me play that because like it's
all good. And fuck you, YouTube. That's his song that he wrote and he played. Copyright that, bitches.
Yeah, well, let's see what they do with it because the fact is, yeah, that is an original song. So
exactly.
That was not Bowie.
No, that was not Bowie. Not at all.
But I got two versions of that song. One is with the echo on the microphone, and with that one I turned the echo almost all the way off.
Right.
Because with the echo, it's hard to tell what I'm actually saying. So that's a much rawer song. That'd be like me picking up a guitar now and singing straight into the microphone.
Right.
Which I could have done, but I didn't. But I do like that song because it's you've heard my other songs, and it's slightly different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing with that song is I play the guitar. I hit the guitar quite hard, and I need to be more gentle with the guitar. For the sound of the song, it needs to be more gentle. So if I was recording it, I'd be playing it differently. But when it's my voice when I'm playing it in one track with the voice and the guitar going through the same microphone,
right?
I don't know what level to play. So does the guitar need to be heavier? Does the vocal need to be louder? And I did quite a few versions of that, and some versions the guitar is perfect and you can't hear the voice, and then the other ones the voice is quite loud, and it was so loud that I was distorting the microphone, so I had to turn down the microphone and back it off to get to a level where both could be picked up.
So we're gonna have fun. Yeah, we're still live. We've got the Continuum in here, who used to be known as CT, and I refuse to call him the Continuum because he's always going to be CT to us. So that is why.
CT, I haven't heard from him for ages.
Yep. So he, the Continuum, he's a good fella from good old Jez and Jez's channel from Digital Pollution, and it's just one of those where it's great. But
I recognize the CT, yeah.
Because he's deciding that he wanted to change his name because he had to. Yep, that's where we're at with things. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Share, you piece of shit. There we go. So there he is. CT. Good old CT.
Hey, yeah, CT.
He's just got home and,
he's broken.
Well, I told him if he can jump in, if he wants to jump in, I threw the chat, in the chat there. I threw the link. If he wants to jump on good old Stream Tards and join us, he's more than welcome to. He's been very kind to Frank and myself numerous times. Stop it. Even though, everybody's got funky hours when it's different parts of the world, which he is in, so it's all a bunch of fun.
Where is he? I can't remember.
Yeah, right off the top of my head, I don't remember either.
CT, where are you? Damn it, we need you.
He's driving at the moment. But yeah, we've got Howland.
Okay. I understand if you're driving. I know in Australia, if you're driving and using your cell phone or any device, it's a huge fine.
And those are never fun.
No. So you do what you need to do, but it's good to see you here.
Yeah, I love it when, you know, a lot of folks from other channels, you know, they pop up and, you know, poor Frank, he's just a teeny tiny little channel, but I figured, hey, if I can use this channel to bring people together and have fun and stay sane, then that's what we're going to do. And, you know, now it's the fun of seeing if YouTube's going to give us a copyright strike because, yeah, they're assholes.
That was a funny thing when Justin Proper was escaping the apocalypse. He was recording the whole thing, and I was watching it. I was enjoying it, but if he did that in Australia and the police saw him, he would have been fucking nailed. He would have been pulled over, and they would have charged him, and he probably would have lost his license on the spot. That's in Australia. But yeah, because he was using, he was filming himself, but he was talking to the phone. And in Australia, they've changed the rules. So even if you've got a passenger in the car using a device, and you are looking at it, you can be charged.
Yeah, every state here is pretty much different. Like if your hands free, it's okay. Technically, he had his phone on something, so it was filming as he was driving. He might be okay. Generally, just depends on how big of a dick that the police are going to be.
The fact is, when he was driving, he was manipulating the phone to show different angles. So as soon as you touch the phone, but in Australia, you don't even have to touch the phone. In fact, it doesn't even have to be your phone. If it's a passenger's phone, you can be charged.
Yeah.
So, yeah, different rules for everybody. But it's like, well, if you've got all these rules for us, don't give us the technology. It's like if the technology is such a bad thing, don't give it to us. And the fact is, you could be on, before cell phones and everything like that, we had CB radios, right?
Yeah.
And you could be on a CB radio, no problem. That was never a problem. You could be on a CB radio. You could be playing with your CD player and changing the tracks and putting new discs in the CD player. But nowadays, anything to do with a cell phone in Australia, charged. So I'm just checking because what the fuck is this?
I don't know.
I just got a message on my phone.
Huh. Pay off all your student debt.
No, just a friendly reminder. You're on the 9th, which is tomorrow. That's okay. It's from 8 p.m., which is my job seeker network.
It's telling you tomorrow on the 9th. Remember, don't wake up because the world will end. Because why not?
Oh no. Well, it's not compulsory. But the fact is, he needs to keep in contact, which is fine because Richard, the guy that I deal with, is a really good guy. So I don't mind. But so I'm gonna get a phone call midday tomorrow from Richard. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It all works.
Exactly.
In fact, I told Kevin to ring Richard because Kevin, with his job seeker network, they sent him out a message saying, "Do you want to work? Here's work," and so he said yes. And they sent him back a message saying, "Oh, sorry, that's a blanket message. We sent it to everybody." Even though it had his name on it, and I said, "Well, Kevin, like maybe you should hook up with my network because they do try hard to find you a job, and they work with people with disabilities, whether it's physical or mental or me and my guts."
Yeah.
So they've been working with me, and I've just said to them, "It's like, well, I'm sorry, but I can't I don't know if one day to the next if I'm going to be okay. But with Kevin, it's just a deal with his knees. So one knee has been operated on and it's fine. The other knee has been stressed out because it was compensating for that donkey knee that they kept on putting off the operation.
Yeah.
So while he had one knee that was bad, one knee that was good, but the whole time that the knee was bad, the other knee was compensating for the first knee that was bad. And so by the time they got around to fixing the first knee, the second knee's fucked.
Oh yeah.
So and I've even discussed it with you. I've told you about it. It's like the fact is, it's like no, that knee is compensating for the other knee. By the time he gets around to that operation, he's going to be fucked. And that's what happened. They fixed up the first knee. The first knee is fine, and now the second knee is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, healthcare.
Yes, you have to love it. You know, it just doesn't always work as well as they think it's gonna. Oh, the grass is always greener on the other side till you're there.
Yeah,
socialism.
Well, it's like what I was telling you. It's like I went through all the, I had the endoscopy, the colonoscopy, all the scans, all the blood tests, all that.
Yeah.
And all that was put forward, and then they put me through to a specialist, and it took almost 3 years to get my specialist appointment, and now the specialist has sent me a letter which is supposed to go to my doctor, which I'm sure has gone to my doctor as well.
Right.
Basically saying that I have to go through all of those tests again.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah, well, if you would have seen me earlier, the test would have been valid. But now they're saying, well, because the tests were like over 2 years ago, like duh.
Yeah. Well, it took you 2 years to get to me. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
We're not going to retake these same tests. They're going to turn out the same way, you jackasses.
So I've got to take it right up the kazoo again, and down the pipe, and do all these other scans, just because you waited so long. But I have to wait longer because all this shit.
Mm-hmm. Because of the beer virus.
So I'm not rushing out to get something shoved up my ass again. So we'll see how that sits. But I understand it's like there's higher priorities. But I have been waiting a long time.
There might be higher priorities, but at this point, it's like, fuck that. I've been waiting for over 2 years. Now you want to redo tests that you already did because you couldn't get me in. Fuck off. Now you should be on the high priority list because you've already did all this shit once, and now you got to do it all over again. It's like, no. And then not to mention whatever it is you have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah. But
and discomfort.
Anyway, that's where everything's sitting at the moment, and I'm just going to let it ride for now, because I mean, even the doctor said she's not going to see me for for another 3 months. So
right,
I'm not rushing anything.
Yeah, I mean, even if they wanted to see you, they're not really doing that right now. So yeah,
no, yeah, as I said, it's like they tried to cancel the appointment and they wanted to make it a phone appointment. So when I showed up at the hospital, they said you shouldn't be here. I said, well, I'm here now. You better have a doctor for me.
I've been waiting on this appointment for over 2 years. Fuck you. I'm here, bitches. You ain't canceling this shit. Fuck your coronavirus.
Yeah, it's like, we send you a message on your phone. It's like, yeah, we send you a message on your phone. It's like, no, I'm not attached to my phone.
Did you call me? Did I answer the phone? No.
Did I answer the phone? No. It's like, we sent a message on your phone. It's like, well, no. It's like, that doesn't work. But I mean, all this stuff. So I'm just
oh, yeah.
I'm just airing it so other people understand where I'm coming from.
No, they do that here in America too, though. It's like, I had it once where I got a text message and it's like, you have an appointment coming up. Press 1 to accept the appointment. So I pressed 2 because I couldn't make the appointment. And then they go, oh, well, you didn't call off. I'm like, your stupid thing in the message. I showed them the text message right here. I pressed 2 and it says my appointment's canceled. Why would I call you? It's telling me it's canceled. And they're like, oh, well, you have to call. Well, then quit sending me text messages.
Yeah, if you can't respond to the text message, don't send it.
Yeah, and if I'm going to respond to it and you're not going to listen, then you can just fuck off. Right off. Because don't send me a text message. Because if you're asking me, are you going to come? And I say no. And then they say, oh, well, you have to still call us. As far as I'm concerned, I did my part. I responded to, not going to be there. So.
Wow. Here we go. Homeschooling help. They're talking about people, the students being schooled at home. They need to be kept motivated. I think a cattle prod will keep them pretty motivated, you know.
I was thinking one of them dog collars, man. You put the dog collar on it, and, you know, zap the shit out of them. If they get past the specific part of the room, it zaps them immediately. You know, it's like, ha-ha, bitches. How do you like that idea? I mean, you know, could work. Oh, I would not want to be. Oh man, parents these days, I feel bad for them. You know, especially if you know, like in Heather's situation, she's still working, kids are home, so you know she still has to go to work and work. Kids are probably driving her nuts because they ain't going to be doing nothing. I mean, granted, I'm sure hers are a little bit younger. So they're probably still in the age of wanting to play video games and all that stuff. So that's always good. But could you imagine teenagers, 16, 17, and like, well, you have to stay home. Well, fuck you. I'm not listening to you. You ain't my daddy. So, you know, it's just like, that's how, you know, it's just one of those that you think about. And it's literally one of those, like I said, to you. And
I'm 16 years old. I have to go out and spread my seed.
Mm-hmm. I got this itch and I need to scratch it. And I can't do it with you being home, mama. And this Sears catalog ain't cutting it no more. But it's
and fuck your National Geographic.
Yeah. I don't want some big old black titty bitch. I want me a pretty girl. You can't look at Pornhub when you're home, mama. You didn't leave.
I want me some white skin with soft skin.
No, I mean, it's like, where's all the white women at? You know? So, but no, I don't. I mean, I'm blessed enough that all my kids are grown up. I'm just stuck with the dogs, which can be bad enough on occasions like now where now I want to talk. But
yeah,
I would not want to deal with that with mouthy ass teenagers that are ungrateful little turds, you know, and then you can't escape them. I mean, you know, if you're lucky enough to still be able to go to work. So
that's why
okay.
That's why I'm lucky. I only have nieces and nephews. So, and you can hand them back at any time you want.
Exactly. So yeah, 10 and 13. So that's not too bad because they should like to play video games and they can, you know, do all that stuff and or board games. And, you know, for the most part, I've heard you tell them to do something. It sounds like they do it. So that's not too bad. But yeah, 16, 17. Oh, fuck. That's the age that they're horrible little shits that you can't drown. But yeah, it's at times anyway. And it's just like, oh my goodness. I couldn't imagine it. And then the opposite of that is being somebody who's been out of work this entire time for the last, 3-4 weeks, hasn't getting any money, and you're running out of food, or you never had the backstock to begin with. So you're freaking out, and then your kids are driving you nuts and, they can't go to the park. They can't be outside where they should be with the distancing thing. So
no, they should be outside with the fresh air and sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's saying, no, you can't do that.
Well, it's like in the 50s when the FDA, well, even before that, smoking's good for you. Smoke a pack a day. Yeah, we found out. Go outside and play. Yeah, that wasn't good advice either, you jackasses. Because the sun gives you cancer. But, before
it also gives you vitamin D, and vitamin D is very, very necessary for your immune system.
And that's why we drink vitamin D milk, people. But yeah. It has more flavor and more body and more vitamins. But yeah, that's the thing though, for years, when we were kids, they're always like, go outside and play. You'd be outside playing and shit. And, then they find out, oh, well, thanks to the ozone layer being depleted, now you need sunscreen. But other than that, you'll be all right. That's just it. But right now you can't even go outside, or if you can, you got to stay so far apart. So it's like, all right, whatever. You just never know what's going to be next.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like yesterday's news story. I mean, you had the most breaking news story I've heard in months.
The shark
Man
attack.
dies from a shark attack. Holy shit. You mean COVID didn't get him? Did he give the shark COVID?
No, the shark had COVID and killed him.
Yep. The shark's name was COVID, and he was COVID 357, and he ate his ass.
No. His name is the shark's name was COVID, and the tag on his fin was 19.
Yep, exactly. So, but that's got to be one of the most uplifting, sad stories I'd heard, since this shit began, was when you're like, man dies from shark attack. And it's like, holy shit, you're joking, right? That can't be what's on the news. And yet it was. It's like, wow, because you get so, used and mundane of the COVID-19 crap, and I mean, that's like for us, I was looking at this earlier, and I love the way that they do this to freak you out. It's so funny. I'm going to assume that every other state has this as well. I haven't really looked because, well, to be honest with you, I don't live in another state. I live where I live. That's generally where I keep a good track of what's going on and, the good old CDC report. All right, so screen share. Yeah, there we go. So when you look at this,
yeah,
it makes you go, well, fuck. Yeah, look at all them colors and DEFCON red and,
Is that just your state?
Yeah, this is just my state, right? So
173 deaths just in your state.
Mm-hmm. Now here's the best part.
The entirety of Australia, I think, is at 23 deaths.
But when you look at this, it doesn't look so scary. You got a 48, and then pretty much, an 11 and 11 and a 10, and then just some single numbers and a lot of zeros. That doesn't look so scary. Now, granted, that's just the deaths, and I get that.
No, but what I'm saying is, in your single state, it looks worse than our whole country.
Well, and that's the thing, though. We've talked about the test being bullshit, and then
I understand that. And people assuming that people are dying from COVID-19 when they're not.
Positive cases, total tested, and then we don't know. But here's where it gets even better. Here's the cases. There's the deaths. This looks horrible overall.
Yeah,
just people infected. But when you look at who's actually died, 80s and up, almost 80. Our group age. Tianan's group age. And so and then you've got nothing.
But it's like what I said ages ago. It's like, how many of these people have been autopsied and found to have died from the virus?
Now, this is where it gets even more funnier, though. Watch this, because it says deaths, men. But when you just click on the cases, which are people that are infected, there's more infected women than there are men. But the men are dying.
Of course.
So, and like I said, I don't trust any of these numbers. It's all anyway.
The numbers are way off.
And that's just like I said. And this is, like I said, okay, in my county, I sent that to you. That's what it shows.
Well, I actually saw something last night that actually showed that they're basically just piling all the bodies together and saying COVID-19.
Well, okay. 676 people have been tested, and I sent it to you. In Elkhart County, there was 208,000 people. Out of 200,008 people, there's 676 that have been tested. 43 positive, 3 deaths. And like I said, you go here, holy shit, man, that just looks awful. Well, no, it's just tested. And then, when you actually statistically break it down, St. Joe County, which is where Notre Dame is, 1 death. The big one, that's Indy. And that's why it's got, so many positive tests, the highest amount of deaths, because that's where the big airport was that flew the first guy in that had it. And of course, anybody on that plane got it, so on and so forth. But that's how it works for our state. It's, here's where the epicenter of failure is when it comes to the disease and deaths and stuff, is because of the fact that's where it is, Indianapolis.
Well, it's like the way they portray it in Western Australia with our deaths have gone up in Western Australia. They are all off cruise ships, all of them, all the people that died in Western Australia are off cruise ships. Ooh, what a surprise!
Yeah. Well, I never really wanted to go on a cruise ship before, but I can guarantee you, I sure as fuck am never going on one now.
Well, that's why I bring up the thing. It's like, why haven't we seen any records of who's affected in the military?
Well, because they don't want you to know.
Exactly. So they're hiding those numbers straight away.
Well, I mean, and you and I talked about this, and now all the poor people listening are going to have to hear it. But if you do the math and the math doesn't add up, math should always add up. 1 + 1 is 2, not 3. When you look at the fact that they had the China military games in October of 2019, that is where your first victims were. That is how come in January, when they first brought it to our attention, they were already working on vaccines, because your owners, the government, all knew what was going on when they didn't tell the people. Months prior, nobody was worried about it. They were all worried about impeaching Trump. That was what was all over the news. Australia was on fire. They're trying to impeach Trump, because you and
Australia was on fire. Yep. Australia had a flood, and then North Korea was launching new missiles.
Yep,
that's where all the attention was.
And Trump being impeached.
Yes,
that's where most of it was. Meanwhile, you caught those little stories here and there, and I mean, there's been plenty of reports. This is just what this is nothing new for China and their way of doing shit the way they do it. But that's the problem. Granted, that's great. They knew about it in January. We don't start hearing about it really till February. And then next thing you know, we're locked down March, April, oh, it's only going to be 2 weeks. And I said from day one to you and numerous streams, I'm sure, it's bullshit. When they first started talking about this, they said it'll be 18 months. And that's if we're lucky for this to be completely gone.
There's a new additive to this. And you might agree, you might disagree. The fact is, they're pushing the 5G network, and while all of this stuff is going down, they're building the 5G towers. And the problem with the 5G towers is they emit more signal than we've ever had before. So think about almost like microwaves, and it's just another additive, because while all this stuff is going down, while we're under lockdown with COVID-19, they are building the 5G towers, and the 60 megahertz running through a human body doesn't do it any good. Even with the old towers, they found that they were causing problems with people's health.
Right.
And now they're increasing the power. So, I mean, it might not have anything to do with it. But the fact is, what I'm saying is, while we're looking at COVID-19, they're building these towers.
Coronavirus, 5G conspiracy theory spreads. I mean, and you can Google it and see all kinds of stuff. But yeah. But now in parts of selected cities.
Yeah.
Just a quick Google search on it. That was just Verizon themselves, But yeah, that's just it. Oh, and here's the thing that we heard on Odin Stream, and I was kind of typing it in the chat, and he didn't read it. Was when he was talking about possibly AMC closing down, and then if they start launching off their own platforms, they're gonna have all the problems. Not when they're pushing, and that's where I was going with it, the 5G network. They're going to push a better network, a stronger network that we're going to have to pay even more money for, not to mention what's it going to do to nuke to your body on top of everything else we got going on.
Well, it's basically a problem with the actual tower itself. How close is it to people? But it comes right back to, way back when they first brought up the possibility that holding a handset next to your head is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, think about increasing that power by a lot. So I'm not saying it's related. What I'm saying is it could be something that is related. And
think about it, man. We went from toaster ovens to microwaves.
Yeah.
You know,
and
you
they said microwaves are perfectly safe.
Yeah.
And if you stand away from them, they are. But if you are right next to them, they still do radiate.
Yeah. But I mean,
So-
think about it. You know, way back in the day, you would have your toaster ovens and your crock pots and so on and so forth. Where nowadays it's microwaves or the air fryers are nice. I'm not gonna lie, it's better than eating stuff in fried grease, but they are nice. But yeah, and then now you go to, like you said, the CB radios was a big thing. Then it was the handhelds and the hem radios. Then it was cell phones. And it could cause. I remember them saying it could cause testicular cancer. Remember that when with the first damn phones came out that were the size of like 12 phones of today.
Well, the fact is, this is the fact, right? Your nerves, your whole body works on a sequence of electronic pulses, and when you get other pulses in from other areas, it affects your body. But they don't worry about that. They think, we can have this technology, we can do this, we can do that. Yes, but the fact is your body works on electronic pulses. Your whole body, your nerves, your whole systems and everything, it all works on electronic pulses, because what happens is the brain sends a message using electronic pulses to the rest of your body saying what it needs to do. So if anything interrupts that signal, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes your brain telling the rest of the body, "Oh, there's cancer there. Take care of it." So your brain sends out a signal, and your immune system goes to that part and says, "I need to take care of that." But if that message gets interrupted or changed in any way, which it can do because it's all electronic pulses, and all of a sudden your immune system starts attacking your own body. I know I'm taking it to the extremes, but the fact is, electronic pulses run your body, so you can't fuck with that, and you can't have anything outside fucking with it.
Well, I mean, I think 4G is bullshit, because for the longest time we were, you're in a 4G network, but yet the area I was in doesn't have any towers. It had the old 3G towers. Now, we're going to go to 5G.
But even the 3G towers, they had 3G towers on top of buildings, and they had 4G towers on top of buildings, and the people that were living in those buildings were having problems.
Exactly.
And they shut them down. They said, "No, you're not having a problem. That's nothing to do with the tower." But they all had the same symptoms. So
that's the whole thing, even with the power lines and whatnot.
I'm not saying one thing or the other, but as I said, as you know, I question everything. So when I see a big problem show up, I look in the background to see what else are they doing, because they're covering up something with something else.
Well, hey, look, I've always been a big fan of, give deaf people the houses closest to the airport. They're not going to hear it. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. They used to freak out about the power.
The thing with doing that is, like, the fact is, you don't just hear it, you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So when the planes go overhead, you don't just hear it, you feel it. It rumbles the whole building. But I see where you're going with that. But I think we should close down the stream, man. It's like I'm dead tired.
You're dying.
I've got COVID-19, man. I'm dying. But
no, it's that 5G tower in your backyard. It's just nuking.
Yeah, but no, it's like, because I've been up for a long time.
A long time. That's what she said. Giggity. Well, what I'm going to do is we'll wrap this up. I am going to put here in the chat. So for everybody else, if you want to check out Creepy Little Book, he'll be going live here probably in the next couple minutes, I would imagine. And we're going to end this one. It's been fun as always. Plenty of guests that decided to jump in. We had Heather Bell, Tina, Jesse jumped in, Brian the Observer, of course, my co-host, Mr. Peabody. So glad that his internet worked. Brandon Moist, aka the Moist, was going to try to make it, but was not able to. I do know, like I said, we'll be doing stuff with Proper Jeremy, probably, or Justin Proper, if you will, on his channel sometime this week. Hopefully, me, Peabody, and Moist will be able to get together for that. We might be doing some earlier streams. I know Moist is free, so I'm going to do some of those, and I'll try to get Mr. Peabody in as well. But to all you lovely folks, you can't go to the bar. You're stuck at home. Thanks for joining us and hanging out at the Cantina. And until next time, stay sane and be safe. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.